One more time. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Sota Pod YouTube channel for our draft lottery reaction video, pre-show, just live stream here overall. Hoppy, what's good?
You sound and look different than I remember.
Wait, what?
When's the last time that we recorded together?
Oh, okay, well, that was just a weird way of saying that. I was gonna bring that up and say, yeah, I feel like I have recorded with Z more than you.
Wait. You recently were gonna say the same thing, just but you couldn't piece together what I was hinting at.
Well, that
makes it worse.
You just made it so complicated. What an intro! What an intro! What's up, everybody? We are 26 to be exact, 26 minutes away from the start of the National Hockey League draft lottery. And it
already happened. So,
well, I was just going to say, the confirmation that, yes, the leak from ESPN and all their previews and basically everything surrounding the Chicago Blackhawks winning the draft lottery, all that will be confirmed here the show will start in 25 minutes, but they usually rag the puck until the last 10 minutes or the last 10 minutes. And they do a quick segment about it. And then it's okay, then we're going to go to all of our network, post lottery shows on TSN, Sportsnet, ESPN. Now, let's be honest, TNT's not going to do shit on it. NHL Network. But again, big shout out to everybody who's hanging out with us here. Hoppy and I are going to hang out until the show starts. We'll be joined by Z. We might have some other guests who join us throughout this show as well. What's up, whoever? Good to see you. Rooting for Team ABC.
I love hearing you say that.
Yeah. What's up, whoever? Dude, big shout out to the T-Wolves last night. Not a big basketball guy myself, but I did watch the game and they destroyed, man. They I haven't seen good NBA defense in a long time. That was some good shit. Technically, it happened 20 minutes ago, right? I think it happened earlier today because Seth was tweeting about it 2 hours ago. Hey, what's up, Tegrity Farms? Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. The Wolves are back. But yeah, man, this is always an exciting time of the year. It's weird because the Canucks they're not even in it. They're not even sniffing it. They're in the playoffs. So I wore the Wild jersey, even though they have no chance of getting the first overall. They do have a 4.2% chance to get the third overall pick. So, there's something to root for. Your Pittsburgh Penguins, Hoppy, they have a 3.2 chance of getting the fourth overall pick. So there's some things to root for, right?
That would just be such a bummer too for San Jose if they not only didn't get Celebrini, but then also deferred Pittsburgh's pick to next year. Because if Pittsburgh sneaks into the top 10, they have the right to punt until next year.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Absolutely should. I've heard people argue against it. There is no scenario where the Penguins should opt to not take a top 10 pick this year. That would be insane to me.
Yeah. What's up, Gun Totem Granny? Sean saying if the Wolves don't mind a championship before Ant's contract expires in 5 years, that would be a new level of disappointment for Minnesota Wild sports. He's incredible, man.
Hang on. What would hurt more? Losing Ant? What is it? Anthony Edwards, right? Or losing Kaprizov? Or Justin Jefferson. Of those three, rank them. No, FMK in the comments. FMK, Justin Jefferson, Anthony Edwards, Kirill Kaprizov. You know
that's a good one,
right, Aisha?
You should make a poll question.
Is that a Canadian thing? Yes,
Canadian thing?
FMK?
I have no idea what you're talking about. I thought you were talking about the rapper.
One marry, one kill one.
Ah, okay, yeah. I've just never said it abbreviated like that, but I should have.
It's the more PC way to say it, I guess.
Right. YouTube friendly. Ehlers to the Penguins, known for Isha. Twitter speculation, not real. Losing Kaprizov because I'm a Wild fan.
Yeah, fair.
It's Sean. Why are we always doing FMK with three dudes? All right. F Ant, marry Kaprizov, kill Jefferson. I'm not a Coldplay fan. Oh my god. Well, guys, I did check out a sweet video by the hockey guy on Twitter who, as you join us here, if you want to check out, it's a 6-minute video where he did a great breakdown of the entire the entire draft lottery and the percentage of the teams getting or able to get the first overall pick, second, third, etc. It was cool that he broke it down too for like the teams who couldn't get the first overall pick, like how, as you see here, the Philadelphia Flyers, 5.1% chance of getting the second round pick, but the 12th is 85%. So it was a cool video. I'll keep this up here for a little bit, but man, it just does, Hoppy, it just doesn't matter. 13.5, 11.5, or even 9.5. Doesn't matter where the Chicago Blackhawks landed. It's crazy that, like last year, it just seems written. And last year, I was the one who was just like, oh, I want Bedard to go to San Jose so bad. San Jose have the first overall pick this year. People still, or the best odds to get the first overall pick this year. And people are still like, yeah, if anyone's going to drop, it's going to be them. It's going to be them.
Oh, I bet on the Blackhawks to get it.
Oh, yeah?
It's happening. Well, all right, let's go into that. If you are Gary Bettman and you do have full autonomy to rig the draft, give me your top 3 to 5 in order of who you would pick to get Celebrini or move up aggressively if we're talking about, Flyers, Wild, Penguins, whatever.
So if I'm Gary Bettman?
Yes, you're Gary Bettman. You have no hatred for any team. All you care about is money for the NHL.
Money for the NHL. Well, I mean, yeah, fucking probably Chicago, Seattle. If the Canadian dollar and the American dollar were par, I'd say Montreal, but just because of the Canadian dollar, I'm not going to say Montreal. Pittsburgh, Detroit. Yeah, from a monetary perspective,
you're missing a big one. And I'd argue that there's I do think that there is actually benefit to the league having him land in San Jose, but the big one you're missing is Utah.
Okay, well, I was gonna say that one, but I was like, that's just the easy one.
Oh, but so you said Chicago? That's not easy.
No,
what is this?
The next one in line.
Jesus.
No, I mean, that would be such a big splash. And I mean, that honestly would be the best for the league. Now that you bring it up, because it's just so funny that if they do make it, if they do somehow, and they have, what do they have here? They have a 7.5% chance of getting the first overall. It's just funny because like who's going to be there for them to interview? You know what I mean? Like, are they going to interview the owner? Like they're still hiring staff, aren't they?
It's Smith. Smith is the only person that matters.
Okay. Man, that would be so huge for the franchise. But the reason why I believe in Chicago a little bit more getting it than Utah is because that would just be flat out like that would be just so evident that it's rigged. Now, like Chicago getting it, it's like we're all rolling our eyes again and we're all making fun of it. They do have a high percent chance of getting the first over. But if it's like fucking 7.5% Utah, freaking Storm and Mormons, like that, yeah, that's.
I think Yetis is a sweet name. I think
Yeti is good.
I like too that it's like I don't even know what the proper term is for it, but like same letter for both, even though it's a different letter, but it's the same sound. Utah Yetis. So.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, guys, let me know in the live chat. Let us know in the live chat as Mateo's getting in. Okay. If I could rig it, Habs, Hawks, Utah, Detroit.
Wait.
Is that the hockey guy board? Yes.
That's got to be for, like, if you're Bettman, I hope.
Yeah.
Dear Lord.
Pretty sure it's the entertainment guys board, Sean. Utah, Phoenix should be it. Oh, man. But, yeah, I mean, should we do one tankathon here and then continue to take your guys' comments? Yeah, I got one. We might as well do one. Honestly, I didn't even do many on the podcast. I mean, a lot of other.
He's going to do one.
We just got to do one. All right, let's go. Let's see if he lands on San Jose or Chicago. Calgary, 8 spots. Get the fuck out of here. There's no way Gary Bettman's going to allow that to happen. That's
like the most boring answer possible.
Calgary, Columbus, San Jose drops it.
Find me a more boring team to get the first overall than Calgary. You can't.
Flames had a 5% chance of getting the first overall.
That's so boring. So boring.
What do you want to see? Who do you want to see rise?
I don't want to see anyone rise. I think San Jose needs this.
Yeah.
To be honest. And I mean, there's always the cool side story too, that like his family lives out there, whatever. But I think San Jose is a team that tanked the right way, right? Like they didn't just full out fire sale. Like they tried to keep it going and realized they couldn't. So they've finally gotten rid of their final assets that give them any kind of return, and they're embracing that they've got to go through a rebuild after trying to not do a rebuild, versus Chicago, who's like, oh, all right, let's do this again. Which, power to them. I don't discredit taking that approach. I think Chicago is very smart to do it, but I just think the Sharks aren't outright like on the tank for Celebrini bus. They're just at that place in their franchise. I don't know.
Yeah. And
but otherwise,
Mateo, Buffalo has a 3% chance of winning it. So
I think besides Utah, I think Seattle's the most fun. But I also, like, you look at teams like Columbus and Anaheim, who have historically just been snubbed whenever they're either supposed to get the first overall or in sniffing distance. Like, they usually get bumped back, whatever. I think Columbus or Anaheim, like, it'd be cool to see them finally get a win. And let's be real, Ducks don't need the prospects. Like,
no,
they have a pretty stocked cupboard, but they've never had a first overall pick.
Yeah,
which is wild.
It'd be all right to see the Senators get it too. A little drama.
No.
No. Yeah. What's the furthest that Chicago can fall? Hoppy, is it 7?
Any team can only fall 3 spots.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so
that was pretty new. Yeah,
like what, 6 or 7 years ago?
Yeah.
When was Makar drafted? I think that was the first year that they instituted the slide rule.
Let's see.
And I could be way off on that too, but I know that the year they got Makar, or no, not Makar. Sorry, I think that was the year they got. Fuck. Now I'm spacing on names. Who did they just trade? Byram. I think the year they got Byram was
okay.
They slid, wasn't it?
It
was one of the two. I know they got them both 4th overall, and one of them was the year that they slid from 1 to 4.
I think it was 2019 when they got Byram because
Byram, yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think it was as far back as 2017. It was more recent. But I mean,
yeah, dude, that extra 2 years makes it so outlandish.
Well, the only reason I said it is I was listening to a podcast or like a draft breakdown earlier today, and they said it was like 3 or 4 years ago. So,
well, then we're still wrong, aren't we?
Listen, that it was like 3 or 4 years ago.
Sorry, yeah. I missed the emphasis on the syllables of like.
Yeah, San Jose top 3 guaranteed. Yeah, 55%.
I thought they could fall to 4. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, Chicago. Yeah, no, because according to the hockey guy, anyways, 55% chance of getting 3rd, 18% chance of getting 2nd, 25% first for the San Jose Sharks.
Well, hang on. Let's math that out.
Detroit bitched about not being guaranteed a top 3 spot and falling to 4 with the worst record. It's dumb. Oh, man.
Let's see. So we got 25 plus 18.
And Mateo, you were bitching to me today.
Yeah, you're right.
About Zine Buyam dropping in one of the rankings. It wasn't Bob McKenzie's, was it? Because I printed out his, because he did an updated rankings today. He didn't make like a video or anything about it, but he did publish them. And there wasn't much movement. Like, I think Ginla rose a little bit. I think Yzerman like dropped a couple spots, but it was pretty much the same. Who's your number 2, Hoppy? Is it Salayev? Is it like who is it? Who is it for you?
I'm gonna be honest and say that like this is my opinion by osmosis from Z. No, Salayev should absolutely be nowhere near the 2nd pick, but there's a decent chance he could end up in the top 5. But if you ask Z, Salayev should be like low teens, maybe like in the 8 to 10 range at best.
Yeah.
But like Bob McKenzie says too, and he gets all of his info from the scouts that are going to essentially make the picks. So it'll probably happen. It's just crazy to pass on some of the talent that's there, especially with how some of the players have ascended. Like I think we'll ask Z once he jumps on here in the next like 15-ish minutes. But first off, he firmly agrees with this comment. Demidov should be 2. Z will beat the drum for that unless it's maybe a team that like truly needs a defenseman. Like, I honestly think that if the Chicago Blackhawks don't get the first overall pick, they're taking a defenseman, period. Like, there's no discussion around taking a Demidov or something like that. They have such a deep prospect pool at the forward position. And maybe I'm not as up to date on the Blackhawks, but I feel like their blue line depth isn't quite there. Great signing recently with Vlasic. Obviously, they got Korchinski, who looks like he's going to be sick, but I don't know much beyond that.
Right. Is Slav the one that people are comparing to Hedman, and others are seriously questioning that? I think like people are hoping, and in Bob's article, he said like ceiling wise, sure, that's a name that people have been throwing out there, but floor wise could be like Zadorov. So it's kind of like there's a big gap, right? There's a big gap.
Yeah.
Because you just see big guys move like that.
Yeah, it's a BFR.
Yeah, when you see guys move like that and have that offensive awareness and have a little tenacity, like I'm not talking like Chris Pronger tenacity at that size, but some tenacity. Dude. It's worth, I think, a lot of people in a draft like this where it's, after Celebrini, it's kind of okay. There's a lot of talent. There's a lot of positional need. It's going to be interesting to see what teams go for here, because it's a lot less go for the best talent available, because you can make arguments for a lot in the top 10. For sure.
I'm saying, like, because Celebrini is the only no shit pick.
Yeah.
Then there's tiers that fall behind it, and everyone's going to have their own tiers. But I'm just thinking, if I'm the Blackhawks, there's a bigger organizational need when you're talking about comparable talent.
Oh, okay, got you. Oh, Mateos, that's what it wasn't that he dropped. It's that Yakimchuk had 2 top 5 rankings from anonymous scouts, and Buyam had 1.
I don't think Buyam should go top 5. I think he is probably a top 10 pick after what he did in college this year, but top 5 would be pretty aggressive on Zeev Buyam.
Seth Jones, bro, dude's a stud. Yeah, when he played with Weber, he was.
I wonder if he's going to get traded soon. Like, supposedly, I don't know, just listening to Elliot and Merrick, like I do daily, it sounds like he is very not happy about losing, and I'm sure they'd love to shed that cap. It's just a question of finding a dance partner.
Yeah, that's what's
Toronto.
Celebrini and Demidov way ahead of the others, though.
I brought this one up with Joe earlier today, and this will be out tomorrow morning if you're on YouTube right now with us. But I think that Mitch Marner to the Islanders is the move.
Oh. Explain.
He's going from one of the most psycho markets to one of the more tame markets. He's going to Lou Lamoriello, who he's got familiarity with. And there's actually players that could be returned. I think him for Sorokin, more or less straight up, makes a ton of sense. Sorokin will be making just $3 million less next year, and that kicks off his new contract. He is not happy about the way Patty Watt treated him at the end of the year. I think that could be an easy match. They've also got other guys, like they've got strong blue line options like Pelech or Pulak, being that's really what Toronto needs. But
Dude, Pulak's good too. He like silently has put together a tremendous career.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. That's where I stand. But Jay Fresh is hard on the he's going to Vegas bandwagon, which I mean,
my God,
can you ever rule it out? Can you ever rule it out?
No, I guess not. He's got a no move clause. Yeah, this year and next year, but he might waive if it's over, right?
I don't know what you're drinking right now, but I got this beer called You Want What from Barrel Theory, and it is drinking so smooth right now. Oh my goodness.
I got my next trip to the liquor store. I got to pick up some Barrel Theories, just because like I'm on the last little bit of my last little trip, because now that I've been doing so many hoppy hours and doing like a video segment for them in the Sota Pod, or on our YouTube channel anyways, which by the way, guys, I'm sorry it's late. I went overboard on Cinco de Mayo on the beers, the filming, and footage.
Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo. De Mayo. And yeah, so it's coming. There was just a lot more footage than I remember there being, because I don't remember much of it when you slam 8 beers in 20 minutes of filming. But anyways,
And then don't sleep at all after.
yeah, and then somehow stream fucking 4 hours of Japanese boxing at 2 a.m.
Super healthy, dude. Super healthy.
Yeah, amazing. Also, Mitch Marner would reunite with his former London, Ontario teammate.
I have no idea.
Bo Horvat.
Oh, see, there's another reason.
There you go.
I mean, let's be real. The problem for a long time for the Islanders has been they got to score. He certainly helps with that.
Oh, yes.
Did Shirokin walk up to the GM's box in his gear and tell him he's never playing on Long Island again? I don't think anyone's going to say that to Lou, but maybe.
I think even Lou in his frail years is still scary.
No, that's what I'm saying. No one's going to walk up to him and say that.
Yeah. Mateo, I don't think Buium goes top 5 either. It's just odd that more scouts like Yakimchuk that high than Buium, when personally I think there's a sizable gap between the two.
I think where they both play makes a difference. If we're just going to be honest and highlight the bias, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of scouts that probably pay way less attention or don't grade him the same way because of playing in college.
MBN told Norwegian TV that his favorite NHL team growing up was the Capitals, and that he would like to play in Minnesota with Zuccarello.
Wait, that's confusing.
Maybe just his two desires, either Capitals or with Zuccarello in Minnesota.
That's too bad that Zuccarello's probably gone by the time he even plays. Does MBN just walk at the same time as Kaprizov? I don't know.
Oh,
what's to say?
What's up, JL? Good to see you. By the way, JL, we were talking about the Calgary Flames. We did a tankathon. We did a little tankathon run there, and Calgary moved up and got 8 spots and got the first overall in their little tankathon run. So there you go. JL's a Calgary Flames fan. That's why I'm talking about them. It would be bananas for as many issues as Marner had with Lou for him to go back to Lou. Didn't he have more issues with Babcock?
I was going to say, dude, that was a Babcock.
Yeah, it wasn't Lou. It was Babcock.
If there's someone who has 0 issues with Lou, it is Mitch Marner, who isn't capable of growing facial hair.
Yeah, that's... Lou loves it.
Not even a concern. Lou's like, all right, no facial hair. We're set there.
What's up, Cole? How likely is it for the Wild to drop multiple picks? Because that would be the most Minnesota thing.
The most they can drop back is... Well, when it's all said and done, they probably can't drop back any more than 2, technically.
Yeah, they have a 91% chance of getting 13th, so they'll be fine. 5.1% chance of getting 14th. So.
They could go 15th, though.
Yeah, no, they could. I didn't note what it was, but it's unlikely.
I don't care what the odds are. The Timberwolves are up 2-0 in the series against Denver. They'll probably lose.
Sean, I have no idea, because I don't even think we celebrated in Canada. I think in college you did, because it was an excuse to drink.
I know this.
What is it? What is it?
About this, and you commented on it, Isha. I don't know, Lloyd.
Oh! It's not even Mexico's victory.
Weird. The French army can't fucking win. Shocker.
Well, I was just gonna say, for me, it has nothing.
Everyone thinks it's Mexican Independence Day, which is
that's a different. It's a different holiday.
I'm aware of that. I said most people think that.
Yes.
Isha, you're very smart. I didn't mean to insinuate anything other than that.
Yeah, dude, look at all this math that I copied from YouTube. I'm so smart.
What the fuck?
Yeah, this is my spreadsheet. Does that make a whole lot of sense?
If I didn't already have CTE, I do now.
Oh no, Cinco de Mayo will always be the day that the Boston Bruins beat the Leafs again. To me, that was a day to celebrate indeed. Or the day after, anyways. It was like Christmas. It was awesome. NBN to Penguins makes a lot of sense.
Oh, don't do that to me.
Gover's Puck Club. Hey, what's up?
Also not possible, Mateo. So now you're really getting me excited for no reason. If Pittsburgh doesn't get into the top 10, they don't keep their pick this year.
Mateo's saying I thought he was mad about Lou not adding bonuses into his first contract. Well, I'm sure that ship has sailed given how much money he's made now.
I mean, he also did that to everyone except for Matthews, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Imagine the line of Bedard and Celebrini. Ugh, I don't want to.
Oh, they won't play together. They will both run their lines just like Malkin and Crosby, kind of like Edmonton half the time does with McDavid and Draisaitl. That's the way, especially, dude, Oliver Moore at the wing, Frank Nazer.
Well, I was just gonna say,
oh man, that's
who does Oliver Moore play with? Bedard or Celebrini?
Bedard.
Yeah. It'd be like 1.5% times 1% or something for them to fall back 2 spots, I think. Who would you guys pick at 13th?
That is a loaded question. I know
it's so hard to gauge.
Well, Z's going to get into it a lot more once we do our first official mock draft, once the order is set here. Guys that have been talked about pretty heavily, I know, are Tija Ginla, Michael Brandsegg-Nygård, and I know Liam Greentree was talked about a bit. I think he might have fallen off a touch.
Bobby has him at 17, Greentree.
I think those are the top couple. At least just like looking at where they're picking, but
yeah, between 12 and 17, you got Yakimchuk, Briam.
I'm going to take Sean's answer. I would absolutely pick the best guy available.
Yeah.
That's my move.
Bobby Maxless.
I'm taking Charlie Stramel.
Oh my. They got Yakimchuk, Buyam, Jiricek, Hemming, Aginla, Greentree. Between what's 12 and 17. So it's going to be because I just don't know who some teams are going to take chances on, who because it's crazy. This one, it's crazy. Well, if no one takes Alive at second, okay, where does he drop to? Who's picked instead? Does
go probably top 8, even though he shouldn't.
Yeah, does Buyam go in the top 10? That'd be pretty huge as well.
I would be surprised if he falls outside of the top 10, but I mean, he's for sure going to go. I mean, I guess never know for sure, but.
And what about Tija Ginla?
Best 12.
He's got some helium right now. He's the youngest player in the draft. He's the youngest player in the draft too. So
much helium there.
Yeah. So those are some that I think.
Dude, Tish is a guy that C was talking about earlier in the year, being like, yeah, you can probably get him like somewhere in the 20s to late teens to mid teens to, he's probably going to fall right where the Wild pick to now. There's guys saying he could go as early as 7 or 8, and that's just like crazy ascension.
That's wild. Yeah, that is wild. What do you guys think in the live chat here?
Go for Puck Live. The
right now, actually,
show just started on ESPN.
Thank you.
It's just going to be talking heads for probably the next 10 or 15 minutes. Then they will drop the order, which I'm sure they'll be weird about it and go in reverse order like they always do, because it's just fucking stupid.
There we go. What do we think about Bucci Gross picture?
So,
I didn't see the Bucci Gross picture.
That's what I was making fun of earlier. So for those that aren't aware, Bucci Gross posted basically trying to get people excited about the draft lottery tonight, and posted a picture of the final order. And there's speculation afoot. Like, is this something that was done purely to stir controversy and get people going? Like, even him deleting it, like, that adds to it to be like, oh, it's real. A lot of people are saying that was a test run, which is what I assume. And like, good on ESPN actually learning how to manipulate the internet and generate buzz so that people do tune in now that they've seen what the potential answer is. Petrovsky, what is going on, Joshua?
Oh man. Yeah. That it kind of seems like something Booch would do.
Oh no, I think it's something that someone told Booch to do.
Maybe in collaboration. He'd be like, oh yeah, I'm down to do that.
Bucci Gross thinks about people wearing his overtime shirts, chicken parm, and tight pants. Not necessarily in that order.
It's funny that like he's like the American like hockey guy who's into chicken parm, because in Canada it's Ray Ferraro. He's got a few chicken parm stories as well, and TSN always makes fun of him for them.
We gotta figure out who did it first. Like, did Buccigross just steal the whole bit?
He might have.
And like, as much as people like give Buccigross a hard time, like I certainly do for some of his play-by-play stuff, he is the only guy for quite some time that's given any shit about hockey at ESPN. He's at least tried, and I don't know. Seems like a good guy to grab a beer with. I just don't necessarily want to listen to his play-by-play call. Outside of that, has Z had beers with him?
Is that one of the guys Z said he met up?
That's we'll say yes.
Okay. Huh.
He said Bucci was awesome. He said someone with Bucci, not so much.
Oh,
so that's an off recording story.
I was say, now I want to pry, but I'll keep my mouth shut. So Trevor Connolly's still on the board in the 3rd round. You guys draft him even with the off-ice stuff.
I'm not even sure what the off-ice stuff is.
Yeah, I'm hitting the Google machine right now.
Yeah, you should figure that one out.
Explain. Whoever, at least just Cole's notes.
Yeah, can whoever explain? Michael Haig at 13 seems aggressive, but go off, Mateo.
Well, this is like old news too with this guy.
Hey, Go for Puck Live, basically confirming exactly what I said. Good guy for a beer at the USCHO party. Not great on calling games. Now, let's be real here. If you were a fan of any East Coast team, you'd probably think he's okay.
Okay, so sorry Hoppy, but it says so this was published by the Hockey News in February, and it says Connolly, a tremendously talented left winger with the USHL's Tri-City Storm, certainly has the skill to be a high pick, but the NHL scouts are vexed about where to place the Providence College commit because of off-ice red flags, the most stark which involved a swastika.
Do you not know what? Come on, dude.
What?
You don't know what that word is?
Swastika? I know what it is.
It definitely isn't Ika.
Oh, well.
Swastika.
But anyway, so yeah, there's a lot. I guess there's quite a bit to unpack there.
Swastika.
YouTube demonetization.
For saying dude. The word?
I don't know. I don't know. YouTube's fine with that. Instagram though, you can't say it. Or type it. Or show it. Instaban.
All
right. He's pronouncing it like his name. Relax.
That's all he has for reference.
Exactly that.
He be wildin'. Oh man. All right. So how long do you guys think they rag the puck until we even get this puppy going? We're what? 7 minutes in. They did a little bit of an intro.
Z should be here any minute, and I know that's what people are waiting for anyway.
No, I know last year they didn't. I don't remember if they did anything like after. So I think they went like pretty much until like 10 minutes left. And then there was like a quick little like Zoom call with like Bedard, one with Fantilli, and then that was it. Because I think I watched like NHL Network's like post show on it after. So we'll see. Sometimes they get right to it. Sometimes, like I said, they rag the puck and then they just like go after in the last 10 minutes and just kind of get through it.
Z just texted me almost home. I'm going to start a timer right now so we can decipher what almost
is. Let us know some predictions in the live chat. How much time is almost in SpokedZ?
Yeah, give your guesses. I just started the stopwatch.
All right.
Whoever's the closest, don't know what we'll do, but we'll do something for you.
There you go. They'll fill most of the time until the game starts.
Oh, of course. Hey, Billy Guerin's on the screen, which excites and angers about half of the listenership. So hang on, we got to pick out who looks the goofiest right now. Let's see. What the heck? The Seattle one is something.
Oh, what?
Oh, geez, there's watch parties going on. San Jose, Chicago, Anaheim, Columbus. holy shit, that Columbus mascot never ceases to scare me.
Briere looked dialed, dude.
The hoodies, they're showing Utah and the guys arriving, which like awesome reception for them by all the fans, but just the black hoodies and it just says Utah hockey in white.
I mean, it's so NHL, right? It's just we're gonna put minimal effort into this until until it's all done.
Man, Macklin Celebrini.
Oh, he's there.
On the set, dude. That kid. Anyone that hasn't already, go. Well, if you haven't already seen it on The Athletic, check out the post that I literally just dropped now. And there's a link there to Joe Smith's feature on Macklin Celebrini. I actually had the chance to shadow him during the Frozen Four this year. And this kid, he's no joke. He's not going to be Connor Bedard for any of you that are wondering, like the comparable. But this guy is a no joke, like bona fide first overall pick. Like we've had years where someone goes first because someone has to go first. This guy is a no joke franchise changer, first overall pick.
Yeah, he's going to be better overall in his career, like projected to be better overall in his career than like a Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, who was really good in junior, who went first overall, but you know, let's be honest, another draft he might have fallen to third, second. You know what I mean? He's not that generational talent, and that's what Bob McKenzie said too. But he is going to be a top center in the National Hockey League. I'm just looking to bring up actually that article.
What is the line that you have to cross to be quote unquote generational? Like how many generational talents are there per generation?
Ooh,
you know, because like I don't know. I feel like Celebrini could be on the fringe of having that capability, but if we're talking a couple players, then no, he's not going to fall in that tier.
Yeah, like the only three. Well, it's because like I don't know about Bedard yet. He's pretty much checked every box though, so I guess I'll throw him in there. But like Bedard, McDavid, Crosby, in my lifetime, like those are the three.
So you don't think Ovechkin's a generational player?
No, I think he's the best goal scorer I've ever seen. But
wow, that's okay. But okay.
I got to be honest, right? Like I like him more than Crosby. I always have.
No,
but
fair.
like he's not a complete hockey player. He never has been.
You don't have to be a complete hockey player to be a generational hockey player.
I think you have to be more of a complete hockey player than not.
Sure. Is Ovechkin too far from being a complete hockey player to be considered? Maybe, but yeah. I don't think you have to be this like I don't think McDavid is a complete hockey player. He's a freak at the things he does well, but like, is he really on that level of 200-foot game? No.
True. I guess the only argument would be he makes up the ground with
Gopher Puck Live chimes in with Austin Swankler, who's going down to D3, which that whole I can't even begin to tee off on him and his dad, who are just lunatics. I don't subscribe to many people's like Twitter feeds. I subscribed to Papa Swankler immediately because he is so unhinged and just, I mean, credit to him. Looks after the family. He's loyal. Utah Sounders. Come on.
I like Storm and Mormons. They're never going to do that, but that's kind of like I hope an account comes out on Twitter, kind of like the Seattle Bitch Pigeons. I hope a Storm and Mormons arises.
Probably already happened.
I feel like I looked it up and haven't found one yet.
So then create it.
I don't have time. I don't. I wish I did. All good hockey. The broadcast has just started. Super Soaker Arena in Salt Lake.
Now, if they can get Super Soaker to be like one of their premier sponsors, yes. That's the way to do it. That's how you do it without saying it yourselves, but getting everyone else to be like, oh yeah, the Soakers. And they're going to drag this out very far, whoever.
Like I said, right until the last 10 minutes. And we're already almost 15 minutes in.
No,
Which is crazy.
I bet in a couple of minutes they'll probably start the whole process of like unveiling it, but it's gonna start from 16 and work its way up. So basically, for everyone that hasn't seen these before, what you're looking for is the first team that doesn't appear in their normal spot. That means that they got picked for one of those. You don't know necessarily where they're going to land among that top group, but if, like, for example, for the Wild, right? If it gets to 13 and they say, who is right before the Wild? Is it Philly?
Yep.
If they say Philadelphia at 13, Wild fans should be going absolutely bonkers.
Yeah. Yep. Then Philly has an 8.9% chance to get the 13th pick. I'm just so proud that I did some research, Hoppy, all right? And I got my notes here. Just I'm going to refer to them throughout the rest until it gets started.
It makes way more sense that the Sota Pod episode for Monday hasn't been posted yet. Seeing that piece of paper.
I've just been so focused on this stream. Why don't they just have 200 ping pong balls and pull them out live?
Well, because then they can't control it and rig it.
There you go. There you go.
They try and make up these excuses, but it's like, no, there's no reason to not do it live if you got nothing.
You know what?
In the room.
I do like this. Alexis. Ovi's a generational player for real. Just look at every kid with the yellow laces everywhere.
And tongues out and the tinted visor. That's all Ovi.
God, yeah. Hey, I'm Canadian kid.
I would
my first jersey.
Iconic more than generational.
Yeah, see, I lean that as well. Oh, and it started.
Here we go. Oh yeah, Detroit and St. Louis don't even participate. All right, Pittsburgh 14. So Pittsburgh does not have a pick. That goes to the San Jose Sharks. Mike Greer is not unhappy. So yep, Pittsburgh Penguins for the 50th time in my fandom do not have a first round pick.
16. Fuck you, Blues.
Here it is. The moment of truth. 13. Minnesota Wild. Sorry. All right. So we know where the Minnesota Wild pick. We can now lock in and fixate on that 13th overall pick. Philadelphia Flyers popping in at 12 per expectation. So far, everything is going as expected. Now, Buccigross is wearing tight pants next to Macklin Celebrini. All right, well, we're going to just ignore all of that. Do you think... Isha, I'll let you take this one, man. That's...
I do think George Larache is a generational player.
Question.
Oh, fuck, yeah, he is.
Oh, shit. He made it, and
honestly, wait, one second. I gotta finish my answer. Then we'll bring on Z here. I think Donald Brashear is more of a generational talent because he's still fucking playing in the LNAH right now at 52 years old, and he got in 2 fights this year already. So let's go.
Dumb comment. All right, we got Z, and whoever said 8 minutes and 33 seconds for the time to arrive from saying almost home. You win quite the prize. Oh,
we only had Cole.
You 15. Are off. You are off.
What's up, Z?
You alive?
No one had faith in me.
Do you have faith in you?
No, not really. Never. Not particularly.
So there you go.
Made it though.
There you go. New Jersey Devils at number 10, by the way.
Oh fuck! So I missed a good amount.
I mean.
They've just been firing through it. They just started, but they've just fired through the first few.
I mean, Butchergross fucking threw him out there at 11 a.m. So
if it ends up being accurate, that'll be wild. I think that's all just attention mongering, which I think is actually really smart. But
yeah, Flames at 9. Nothing
Seattle
out of the ordinary.
At 8.
Yeah.
7. Is it Ottawa? It is Ottawa. So here's where we find out if Butchergross was messing around or not. 6. Utah. Is it
okay? So
Utah?
he was. Oh, okay. I thought you said it was.
No, it hasn't happened yet. We gotta watch for it. It is Utah. So nope, that was fake.
Oh my god.
Okay, thank God.
So, yep,
what if that was the real?
Going first overall.
Yeah, they will. What if it was real and then last minute because he fucked it up, they actually changed it so Utah got broke up from 2 to 5? Dude, that'd be unbelievable.
Utah got hosed, or some might say soaked.
Hey.
All right, 4
Picking
more
up
left.
what you're putting down. Look at all these bots in here, dude.
All right, Z. Yes, for the bots though, there were several bots that have asked us on the stream about Anton Salayev. We all know that he's going to go way too early. Where would you take him? Like, what
Yeah, 'cause
range would you?
Bobby
take
had him at 2.
Salayev? We know that.
There-
I want.
Yeah, and there's definitely a pretty good chance he goes at 2. Just, I mean,
That's not the question.
no, I know I'm gonna get there. God, I sat down 5 minutes ago. For me personally, like I go back and forth on how much risk there really is there, because I do think in theory a kid that can skate that well at that size, and he's shown real solid defensive abilities, like there should be like a decently high floor. I think for me anywhere, I have a hard time taking him over most of anyone that I have in the top 10. After 10, that's where I start being like, all right, I mean, I get it, because there is a legit ceiling and the floor is pretty high. I just don't know if like what the likelihood of him actually hitting that ceiling is. I think so much has to go right. I think a lot of it's going to depend on the situation. So
Sure.
like he's not going to be the driving force on your back end, or even like on whatever. If he's on a top pair, he's the number 2, like firm 2. Like he's not going to, I don't see him being a number 1. I get why people might think so.
You should imagine.
But either way, I get the floor.
What's that, Hoppy?
Imagine him with Quinn Hughes. Now, the other
Imagine
thing that came up, Z, before you got here, apparently MBN is a big Capitals fan, but also really wants to play with Matt Zuccarello in Minnesota.
We love that. So gonna need that.
Oh, Zuccarello
Give
gets
me that.
a 4-year extension, full no move.
He's gonna get 8 years, 10 million. And it's gonna be great. No one's gonna be upset about it.
Well, 10 million total? Like I'd get on board with that.
Per.
That's tough. All right.
He is one that like I will be so interested to see where he goes, because I get the questions on the upside there, and he might be pretty close to like a finished product already. So there's always gonna be a question of how much more development's in there, but like he literally can do everything, and the shot is unbelievable. So there's definitely like legit top 6 upside, even though he's not going to be like driving a line or anything. But I mean, he's going to be like he might end up being like the most reliable player in this draft in whatever situation, like incredibly useful. You could throw him on the ice whenever. Like he is already just so advanced in his development. He's incredible.
Yes, don't be horrible. What's up, buddy? He is a Bruins fan.
No, I'm not. I don't think so. Doesn't sound like me.
I don't know what to call your relationship with the Bruins.
I love hate.
Me either. I hammered them last night, though.
Really?
Like, I was so close.
In the love
You got
phase.
rent payments for the next couple months, right?
I was gonna retire early, aka pay next month's rent, just barely. If everything hit, I just needed Brad Marchand to have one more shot on net, and I mean, I would have gone 6 for 6 because I bet on them to win by at least 3. I bet them in regulation. I took some. Oh God, there was another very funny parlay, but
Sorry, for GPL, they can't win more than twice in 5 years, not more than once.
Is that the Edmonton rule?
Probably.
Did they?
I don't know who else you need it for.
I know.
New Jersey.
New Jersey.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, I mean, Z, do you want to say anything about the Toronto Maple Leafs?
I mean,
Ducks
what
got
a way. Ducks are 3. So what do we got now?
the 2, Chicago, San Jose. That's all that's left.
It's so sickening that they're gonna get Celebrini or Demidov or.
Do you think that they take Demidov or do they take a defenseman?
I could see them going for like Lev Shunov or Salayev. I mean,
Okay, San Jose got the 1.
Oh, thank God, man.
They Dude, they always trick me with that shit. Like, oh,
Because they do it first.
They're showing the San Jose watch party and they're saying it's the Anaheim watch party.
What
a league.
Oh my
Selling
god.
hard. All
This
right, we
league
got it.
is something else, man.
The lottery went to
N-
script.
Nothing. Yeah. Nothing changed.
They always every year it fucks with me though. They take once it's down to the 2, instead of showing who got the second, they're like, now we're gonna show the first, and they showed San Jose, and I about shit myself.
I just
Oh man.
Chicago.
But all right, so Z, for a minute while we let some of this marinate with everyone, people throw in any of your thoughts, comments on any of the team's picks. We're going to be doing our first mock draft for the top 16. But Z, go off. The Toronto Maple Leafs. How happy are you? How just dismantled are they going to be this offseason?
Well, so here's the thing that came out immediately, or not immediately, I guess like literally, yeah. It was either yesterday or the day before. They made the announcement that like new owner, whatever, new CEO is going to have another press conference on Friday, and Shanahan's going to be there. Like the GM, like all the executives are going to be there. So does that mean that they're really going to stick with Brendan Shanahan? I mean, the thing is, like, I don't know how you can possibly do that, because at some point they like, it's not work.
The Shannon plan is done.
League.
It didn't work.
It just did not fucking work. And like, they can say they're one goal away all they want, but like realistically, once you go down 3-1 again, and I mean, like, this had to have been the most Toronto Maple Leafs way to have pretty much the whole world agree that this experiment is over. Like the core 4 has to get broken up. Like Mitch Marner doesn't show up, who I feel bad for, because at this point he just gets absolutely obliterated on like a personal level, which is like really shitty. But I mean, he did not have a good series. He had one good moment, or actually no, he had 2 good moments. The assist was it the Nyes goal, and then he had that sick goal in game 4 that ultimately didn't matter because they got the shit kicked out of him. But like William Nylander, legit migraines. And I've had the same kind of it's fucking terrifying, because literally you just start going blind and you it's insane. And then Matthews, whatever the fuck he's dealing with, because like he definitely he's clearly injured bad, but like he also is like for sure sick. Did you see him? He looks like he lost like 15 fucking pounds, and like his eyes are like down here. It's just the most Toronto Maple Leaf way that could possibly happen. Joseph Woll shows up and wins them those games in 5 and 6, gets injured with 0.1 seconds left trying to preserve a shutout. They go back to Samsonov, who plays unbelievable.
He did.
The Leafs get a lead halfway through the third period. They can enjoy it for a minute and a half, immediately get forechecked into oblivion, give up a shitty goal, and then literally the home run pass which was an absurd pass from Lindholm. Like they run that play all the time. That's one of the most well executed versions of that like set play that they use that like they've ever done before. And that's it. It's over. So I
don't know if you heard Z, but apparently Nylander is at fault for that goal happening since he didn't back check hard enough.
Yeah, I mean,
what a stupid fucking take.
He literally like could barely see. And he ended up leading them. He led them in goals, and I think he was either first, second in points, and he only played in half the series.
That play alone had nothing to do with him. No. The defensemen need to get there. That is not his job to trail back to the crease.
I mean, realistically, all 5 of them just were asleep. Like that's such a preventable goal. And I mean, like one guy to watch too. That I mean, I don't think they should try to move him. I just don't think they can use him as a number 1 defenseman anymore. Like, I'll be very curious to see what happens with Morgan Riley. He was fucking terrible this series. And he's always been, this is the first time he's been bad in the playoffs for them. Like, he is one of the few guys that consistently does show up in the playoffs. But he gave them nothing. So, like, we'll see what happens with who they want to keep around next year in terms of, like, the guys they brought in on 1 or 2 year deals and then guys that, like, they picked up at the deadline.
Like, I'd imagine they are going to do whatever they can to re-sign McCabe. I'm sure they'd love to keep Edmondson because he was really good for them in the playoffs too. And then, we'll see what happens with guys like Domi and Bertuzzi. Because again, like Bertuzzi was getting shit on all year, but realistically, he still put up 20 and 20. Then he was their second leading scorer in the playoffs again.
That guy on the bench when the whole debacle was Matthews, Marner, and Nylander was incredible.
He was just like, yo, what the fuck are you guys doing, dude? You guys do this all the time? You guys are losers. Jesus Christ. But that was also, by the way, we haven't talked about what a weird reaction from the hockey world when they were fighting on the bet, or the fact that it's Toronto. I mean, it was a bad look that Mitch Marner threw his glove, but the fact that the hockey world went nuts over that, I was like, this happens in every team, every game. Have you ever played sports, a team sport before? They're gonna yell at each other. It's not it's the end of the world. And be like, oh, look at them go. And I tweeted the video. I was like, this is pornographic. I am obsessed with this.
Even better though, Z, that fight broke out because Mitch Marner skates by and he's like, Austin says his dog's cuter than yours, Mitch. And the debate ensues, leads to Marner chucking his gloves.
Shout out William Nylander. And it's so funny to me that Nylander forever has been getting shit on there. He is the only one with Morgan Riley. As far as the forwards go, he's the only one that's shown up every playoffs. Other than the first year that he missed half of it for that holdout, he's been worth every penny that they've paid him. He's the only one other than in the playoffs anyways, Morgan Riley. But in terms of forwards, it's him. He's the only guy that's ever shown up for them. And is just a laid back stud. And the reason he's getting shit on so bad about that overtime goal is just the body language there. He's just it's just that, but that's just Willie. And you're building that team around Austin Matthews, William Nylander. Yeah, we'll figure out the goaltending and the defense at this point because that needs to change. But I mean, they've got some nice pieces there too. That Simone Benoit was a nice piece of business. They got him for 2 more years at 1.3 million. They need a guy like that. He probably threw 400 hits in this series. He almost killed Marchand. Marchand ducked it. But if that made contact, that was going to be a problem. But that, I mean, what a way for them if they finally do it and they have to change course here. There's just no way they can fucking front it back again. We've said this for 3 years in a row, but whatever. What a ridiculously Toronto Maple Leaf way for this whole core 4 experiment, this era of the Shannon plant to end. The most Toronto Maple Leaf way possible. It's unbelievable. It just went right to script. And then some. And full on soap opera. So I was very confident, especially when they took the lead in the third period. I was like, yeah, they're gonna this will be how the Bruins do this again, because the Bruins are just, they annoy the shit out of me.
Fallon, by the way,
I had no faith.
He's our Toronto Maple Leafs fan. He's there. He goes to almost all the home games, and he says they're for sure going to run it back again.
It's
Marner's gone.
If you're Mitch Marner, dude, if you're Mitch Marner, I mean, the thing is with that agent, though, he's going to tell him, hey, if they want to fucking try to get you to waive that thing, fucking go to free agency, but don't move. Stay in Toronto and put up 100 points again next year and see what they do. That's how he fucking rolls.
Yeah, that's, I mean, fair.
But he can't. I mean, look at the kid.
How about him getting carved though? For I get that it's a weird timing to say it, but he's saying
not wrong.
The truth. When Marner flat out said that they're looked at as
that's what I mean.
Gods, yeah. Calm down, people. He's actually that's true. That's how they're viewed. It's just a weird thing to say after several years of disappointment from that group. I understand why people are like, wait, what did he say? But to pile on him is ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, you know what was the other thing that was said immediately after the game that it was just oh, he's not wrong, but that's a weird way to say it, is when Sheldon Keefe said other teams, when they play the Toronto Maple Leafs, they play to let the Leafs beat themselves. It's the most accurate thing anyone's ever said about the Toronto Maple Leafs.
That should not come out of the mouth of the coach of that team.
I know.
That is psychotic. Yeah. That is insane.
the reaction was warranted because like, hey, bro, hey man, you're the coach. I don't know. And then 2, like, don't use the third person. It's also like throw that fucking clip in like the please fire me Hall of Fame. Like they're just like, fuck me, get me out of here. Like this is insane. What a like I really think if
so bad.
I know. Dude, if they just played hockey those first 2 games, like the second I was so confident the Leafs were gonna fucking wipe the floor with them in like max 6 games. The second, literally 2 seconds before puck drop in game 1, Domi starts like fucking slashing Marchand. I was like, oh, they're fucked. Like they're gonna try to prove to hockey Twitter that they're tough now. And they literally first shot on goal, Johnny Beecher, first career playoff game, first shot on goal goes in, and they fucking like get the shit kicked out of them, but the Bruins somehow still win like 5-1.
Postseason
like,
Johnny Taves, baby.
And it's Edmondson and Reeves going after the same hit. Dewar did the same thing. They were all right there. And they like that's just how it started. And it's just like, bro, stop trying to prove to the world that you're tough. Like everyone knows that you're not the same like Toronto Maple Leafs. Congratulations. But you still have to like play the right way now. It's not just like, oh, we're gonna be physical to throw hits. Like, no, like throw them at the right time.
Now, Isha will back me on this, but the second that goal was scored in game 7, I'm immediately like, I don't know which team's going to score, but within the next like minute and a half, there will be another goal. And it's pretty much to determine the game. Either Boston ties it up and Boston's going to win, or the Leafs just pile it on and they're off to the races.
And they had a grade A. There was a sick pass from Marner to go up 2-0, and Swayman just steps up. By the way, Swayman, his career save percentage. Oh yeah, they will. They'll be fine. They have 20 million in fucking space next year.
To sign how many players?
Only a couple. They only have a few free agents, and most of them they're gonna let walk anyways. But
also shout out one of the best Italian meals I've ever had, the Jeremy Swayman. So,
and we had just missed him by a day.
Yeah, that really, like, you really had to fucking tell me that, dude.
Like, bro, come on. That guy was a beauty though. The head chef
was awesome.
He was the
Minus
man,
comment.
Yeah, other than that, he could have fucking kept that to himself.
It's like, buddy, you really got to say that.
Bro, Swayman against the Leafs, 970. It's fucking unbelievable.
How did I not know until this postseason that Swayman was told by the Leafs that they were going to pick him, and that right before the Bruins picked him, they picked a different goalie instead?
Yeah, that they shouldn't like. So that pick at that time was not a bad pick. That poor fucking kid, like,
sure, but
he can't play hockey.
They were going to take him.
Yeah. It's weird how they were like, oh yeah, no, like you're our guy, and then all of a sudden there's a goalie right there. They take another guy. That's where I feel bad for that kid. I'm just like, God, he's gonna fucking get like so many ricochets.
But you couple the Swayman incident with Tuukka Rask being traded to the Bruins, like that just adds to the lore of Boston versus Toronto, and I love it.
It's unbelievable.
I don't like the Boston Bruins, but
me either.
I'm probably a bigger supporter if we're going to talk about all the rivalries, but behind like Pittsburgh against Philly, which like I'll murder all of them, dude. If Boston and Toronto play each other, I am the biggest Boston fan. It's so fun.
We said this before the playoffs started. It was like, this is the only team the Boston Bruins can play in the first round that the whole hockey world's like, let's go Bruins here. Like, obviously, like, I hope they both lose, but realistically, you all wanted to see. And it happened in the most absurd way possible. Like, the most painful, leafy way possible. That's how that first round went. It was a shitty series to watch, by the way. Like, the hockey sucked. It was just clogging the neutral zone. And, like, the Bruins literally just suffocating around their own net and letting, like, Mitch Marner go between the legs at, like, the blue line. And, like, they're like, okay. And it's like, bro, they have fucking 3 defensemen that have a total of 7 playoff games, and you're not going to drive the net once?
Not once.
Mason Lowry, by the way, my God, what a goal last night. That was
turns out he's a player.
Oh, I know. He's been, like, he's comical. Like, he's been a defenseman for 5 years. He was a forward. And he was like, I'll try defense. And he's fucking so nasty. That shot was outrageous. I don't know what Bob was doing. I mean, he was basically, like, trying to cement himself into the ice and got like lower than humanly possible.
Yeah, we can work with that.
My God, that shot was absurd.
Man, All right. Well,
pull up.
I mean, you tell me, is there anything pressing that we still want to discuss, at least initially here, or do we want to jump into the first of, I'm sure, many different types of iterations of NHL draft with the mock draft?
I need to pull up the actual order here because my fucking won't work. God damn it.
Well, as Z does that, I just shared it in our live chat too, guys. This was the article about Celebrini that Joe Smith worked on. The Hoppy was talking about it. And if you follow Hoppy on Twitter, and if you don't, what are you doing with your life? Go follow him.
That I think that's a stretch, but
this is the post. I shared the link in the live chat. Go check it out. And I got to get me one of these, man, because you want what? I want one of those beers. That's what I want. That's what I want.
Do really not have a list? This is absurd.
All right, well, you take a minute and dig through that.
This is what a useless fucking league. This league sucks.
Which league?
The NHL. It's the greatest sport in the world. It's the dumbest fucking league on planet Earth.
Oh, I thought
they are so.
You couldn't find
dumb.
your list that you made.
No.
Yeah.
This is absurd.
Okay.
This is the most useless league that has ever been created. Ever. I mean,
Kieran, I want to believe for you. I do. I'll never believe in a Minnesota team, but I hope that this is different.
Hoppy, they led by like 30 the whole game. It was nuts.
Yeah, dude. I've seen this movie a million times. It always ends sad.
Like, I don't even like basketball, and I couldn't look away. I was like, this is incredible.
I haven't watched a second, and I do not care. I probably won't watch any of it, but for all my friends out there that are Timberwolves fans, I hope that you get to find happiness.
I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to catch up on Survivor, but Joe wanted to watch the Timberwolves, so I'm glad I did. I'm glad San Jose won, not just because they denied the Blackhawks, but the connection his dad has to the area is really cool. Yeah, he played for the Junior Sharks, right? At one point, I remember seeing Draymond Green talk about him, Celebrini on his podcast. Draymond Green talked about him. Wow, damn,
dude, I got to start prepping for when my kid's like a little bit more developed in the brain. That stupid Baby Shark song that I know is going to happen. Like, how do I work Celebrini into that? Is that Daddy Shark?
I don't know. Mateo knows I'm a fan of a different type of Baby Shark. The Wolves haven't lost since the start of the playoffs.
I fucking know what that means.
And Minnesota fans are still terrified. Most Minnesota shit ever. His dad worked for the Warriors, right? Why was he in San Jose area as a teenager? There was a connection to the team. I haven't listened to the podcast that me and Mark listened to, but I think he did work for the NBA. Yeah, I think so.
All right, Z, what more prep work do you need before we can rock the mock? Sorry, was a rhyme that funny?
Rock the mock. That was good.
Holy shit.
How many weed beers have you drank today?
0. This is my first beer, to be honest.
Just drinking weed.
Seltzer.
Wait, what movie is that? Oh, this is the end? He's like, I'm not doing drugs. He's like, well, you should have thought that before you had that can of ecstasy. Like, what?
My favorite scene is when Danny McBride made breakfast and like the camera pans to his hand as he's like, showing everything off. Yeah, shout out to Lupulin and the Smazies. Let's go.
Well done, Cosgrove. Well done. Z's mock.
That's real good. That's real good. Love that.
Oh, see, Isha's now like trying to keep it under wraps. Like that was way funnier than what I said, and Isha like barely giggled.
Yeah, he's doing his best. He's being a real ass.
He's like, they know I've been drinking the weed beers. I better control myself.
Fuck, I need to get me some weed beers, man. I'm all out of them.
All right, I'm giving these a go. I just like the box, and I've seen them, and I haven't tried them yet. Where's the camera? Some Cruiser. Iced tea vodka.
Oh, I see. Oh,
gonna just give that a go.
Cool.
All right. Whatever. By the way, did I end up making the list? No. But we're just gonna wing it like we did last year.
I love that. All right. Well, let's start with the tough one. Mike Greer, San Jose Sharks, first overall pick. Tell me a little bit about the player that they are going to be taking.
Felix Unger Storm, the greatest hockey player. No, okay. I wish. Yeah, I mean, there's only one option here. It's Macklin Celebrini. He literally, like, is one of the most well put together, most advanced in terms of just like development already prospects that we've seen in a very, very long time. What he did in college hockey this year was legitimately unbelievable. Well deserved Hobie Baker winner. Two-way forward that has 100+ point potential. And again, he gives you that two-way ability. Like the fact that they've got the San Jose Sharks, when they take him first overall, they've got guys like him and Will Smith ready to go in their prospect pool, automatically gives them a major jump just in terms if you want to like rank prospect pools. And that's one that kind of needs like a guy that'll give them that kind of boost. Like last year was great. They got Will Smith. They made a couple other really nice picks the last couple of years, but Macklin Celebrini really just kind of puts them over the top as far as like game breaking centers.
Togo.
But it's, yeah, I mean, I don't know how much more we want to, I think at this point, everyone's quite familiar with Macklin Celebrini. And before, but I still think it's weird that they have the projected first overall picks, like kind of attending or like live streamed on the, like the draft lottery. Like it's, what if they just didn't go for it? Like,
wait,
there's someone else.
Did they do that with Shane Wright?
Yeah, I think he was. He might have. I think he may have been actually.
That's pretty awesome. For that reason alone, I need them to keep doing it. I need them to keep doing it.
Oh yeah,
it's ridiculous. But what's going to make it interesting? And it's not going to happen. Like Celebrini's not going to go back to BU. He will be playing the NHL next year. But like, does Will Smith and Macklin Celebrini? Like, does that affect Celebrini's decision at all? What if he goes back just to beat BC? Like, that'd be very funny to me. Obviously, it's not like even remotely close to being a thing that'll happen. But like, I just love imagining that in my head. Like, yeah, sorry, I'm not coming. I got to kick the shit out of Will Smith right now. I'll be right back. But yeah, Celebrini to the San Jose Sharks. That really gives that prospect pool quite the boost. So yeah.
All right. Well, that's, again, we're all thrilled that it is not Chicago getting the first overall pick, but to our dismay, they're going to get another fucking monster of a pick here at second overall. We've talked about a lot of different guys. I know generally you have said Demidov needs to be number 2 off the board. Do you feel like Chicago, given their pool of forward prospects, do they go with a defenseman, or is Demidov just too good to pass?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I think most teams in the league probably have Demidov not at 2, even though they should, because I think like he is legitimately one of.
We should clarify. Are we going to do like a mock of what you think will happen, or is this what you think should happen? And we'll go off whichever one you prefer.
It's a good question. I was just kind of like riffing on both, I guess, now that I think about it.
Yeah. I mean, I know that changes your first pick dramatically, but yeah. Precedent here at 2. Are we going with what Z would do, or are we going with what he thinks will happen? Isha, I'll defer to you since Z's not going to make a decision.
What did we do last year again? I think last year we did what
I don't think we did.
No, we definitely did. We definitely did.
We definitely did.
I think it was just me.
It was
me.
I think it was kind of a hodgepodge of both because you guys went like fucking 3.
No, I think it was what I would do. I still I'll just go there. I would
Let's go with what Z would do.
Demidov.
Z's the expert, man. He knows more than these GMs. We all know that.
I totally get the appeal of taking the defenseman or one of those defensemen, like whether it's Lev Shunov, because you've got like the thought of him playing with a kid like Korchinski is very appealing. And like in terms of like the young high-end defensemen in their prospect pool, like they've got some guys with serious upside, but not necessarily quite the sure thing. But for me, Ivan Demidov is legitimately one. Like he actually, like over the course, especially in the MHL playoffs this year, he really closed the gap in terms of like how far behind like a guy like Celebrini he is. He's going to play a bit. I'm sure he'll be a winger in the NHL. Doesn't really matter where he plays because, again, like he is another guy that plays such a good two-way game. But like the sheer skill that he possesses and the way that he scores goals, like he can score goals in any way possible. And the fact that his skating is like quite average, but he still will easily get around. He's not the fastest kid in the world. He doesn't have the quickest feet, but he's unbelievably agile. And like some of the moves that he pulls off, like just pulling off the wall with the puck and just dancing through people and then either going shelf or finding someone back door. Like it is unbelievable. Like every time he touches the puck, like it's like a highlight reel play. I think in the playoffs, he was averaging 3 points a game for Scott 1946. Like he is incredible and he can do literally everything that you want a forward to do. And like he's better, like his results, especially defensively, are way better than like when you watch him, like, oh, he is just like the highlight reel guy. No, he plays a very, very sound two-way game. It's great transition. And then if you get hemmed in your own zone and Ivan Demidov's on the ice, like the puck's going to end up in the back of your net. Like unbelievably creative, skills absurd. The shots a joke. Like he just does everything offensively. And he's one of the most enjoyable prospects that I've watched over the last couple of years, like ever. Like it's just every time he touches the puck, he's making something happen. And he is a no shit game breaker. So if you look at the guys that Chicago's got going up front, and I mean the thought of like if you want to put him on a wing with Connor Bedard, like Jesus Christ, like it is terrifying. So for me, the appeal is Ivan Demidov, just because like he's actually not all that far away from the high upside of Celebrini. And I do understand if you want to like look at the back end of their prospect pool and you want to take a shot on a guy that has a chance to be a number one defenseman, I get it. But at the same time, like for me, it's Demidov.
Does he play in the NHL next year or does he play KHL or does he stay in Russia?
Yeah, no, he'll be in Russia. I don't even know what his contract situation is. I'm sure they're trying to get him to stay as long as they can, but he won't. Like
they're playing.
It's not like there's no one that has the same like contract situation that a kid like Michkov did. Like that'll never happen again. Like that was like he was like 12 years old. They're like, let's sign him for 46 years. Let's just sign him. We're gonna make him heir to the throne. And he was never going to leave. And he said, okay, fine, sure. But it's completely different. Like, it's so funny, though, that now, like, the high-end Russians, it was like, was there the Russian concern? It's like, there was only one, like contract situation that Matt Mitchell. That'll never happen again. Like that.
So I just mean, you just don't see many guys coming right out of the MHL into the National League.
He should have been. So he plays in Ska's system with that fucking dickhead coach. Like he was the same guy that was scratching. He was the Dudov until they traded him. He was scratching fucking. I mean, they traded Michkov. like it's just that's how that fucking guy rolls. So they kind of just stapled him into the MHL, especially after he got hurt. But he, like in the preseason when he was playing the KHL, he looked phenomenal. And again, I said it before. We had a couple shifts of Michkov, Husadinov, and Demidov, and it was a joke.
That's fun. That's fun. All right. Well, then the draft in your eyes, Z, begins at 3. And there's a lot of options here. But if you are the Anaheim Ducks at number 3, who are you selecting?
Yeah. So this is where, like, this will be interesting because, I mean, we all know, like, Anaheim's prospect pool has been, like, it is something else. And this is when we start looking at those defensemen. But at the same time, if you're the Anaheim Ducks, you have 7 guys in your prospect pool that look like top 4 D-men. So to me, that says you got to look at like those forwards. And, you know, of those top guys that are going to be right there, I think they would love to pick up a kid like, and I love him too, Caden Lindstrom. He can play center. He can play wing. Like this is his first or second year ever playing center in the WHL. Before he got hurt, he was eviscerating the WHL. Plays a really nice 2-way game. He's got that nastiness. Like he is mean. He's big. And like his agility at his size and then combined with the skill and the goal scoring ability and how smart he is, his upside is one of the highest in this class. Like there's before he got hurt, it was a very common, like, thought that like he actually may have, just with the size, the skill, and like he might have the biggest upside in the draft just in terms of like what his profile of a player is. And I mean, he comes back from missing a couple months in the WHL. I think his first game he had like 3 points again, but this is his first year playing center. He's doing it unbelievably well. Like he's a playmaker. He can score goals. Like he can literally do everything. So if you look at that top six, what they've already got going on there, like there's a couple guys that you're still wondering if they're center of their wings. He's another guy that like kind of fits that mold. So I go Caden Lindstrom here. He is fucking incredible. He's a very fun player to watch. So I'm going Caden Lindstrom.
We actually have another guest joining the party here right now. A little late to the party, but you can ride shotgun with us. What's up, Seth?
That's our guy.
Some of us work for a large majority of our day, gentlemen.
I thought you were going to say work for a living, and I was going to lose it.
No, I realized
something I
halfway
would say.
through. I realized halfway through saying that just wasn't going to play. So I tried to backpedal. Did we win the thing? Did we win the? Did we get number 1 overall pick?
Chicago didn't
Yes.
get number 1 overall, so everyone wins.
There is a God.
You literally just came from work and signed on here. You didn't even go on the internet. Wow.
No,
I love it.
I have to use my phone as a hotspot, so I don't have the opportunity to be on it. So
Jeez.
I'm in cold. What did I miss?
Nothing changed.
What are you drinking right now? Is that some fucking kombucha? It is
Kombucha?
Yep.
What is this? Yeah, look at Hoppy's face. He's disappointed.
If you don't have at least 2 rips of Jose during this stream, I don't know what's happening.
He's seeing what he's got.
All right. While he examines the stockade, I'll tee Z up for number 4 here with the Columbus Blue Jackets. Do we continue the run on defensemen? I imagine.
You mean start the run on defense? Oh, for
Start
Columbus?
Yeah.
This is like another team. Like they've got over the past couple of years, they've drafted some elite, high ceiling defensemen already. You've got guys like, we'll see what happens if he wants to stay there. Jurasek, Matejchuk, like Svozil. Yeah, Kulevin's that's not looking the best, but they pick up Strathman last year, Reshuk. Like they've got a ton of defensemen, and like some of the forwards are just looking a little bit questionable. So I think I go Berkeley Catton here, the center out of Spokane. I love Berkeley Catton. He's been dominant in WHL for like 3 years now. And another guy that gives you a little bit of everything, like also an elite 2-way centerman. Whether or not he plays center at the NHL level, we'll see. But just a monster year this year, 116 points in 68 games. Up there it is right there. And I mean, even last year as like that underager, he's got a 55 and 63 on like a not so great Spokane team. He's been their captain for the last 2 years. Like he's team captain of, or captain of Team Canada at the international tournaments. But diverse offense, again, the 2-way ability. I think he fits into some of the guys that they've got already there. So now you've got like the centers, you've got Fantilli, Sillinger, Delbel Baluz scored, I think 2 in his first game this year in the NHL. And I mean, on the wings, like if he ends up at wing, like he fits in there, like he is a for sure top 6 player in the NHL. Might need another year or 2 in junior before he gets a look there. And I mean, especially when you just look at all the contracts that fucking Yarmo signed, you don't need to rush him either. So I take Berkeley Cat at number 4. I love this player. He's one of my favorites in this draft. He's a stud, and he's been a stud in the WHL for a while.
116 points and 17, man. It's just
It's
nuts.
not a joke.
And he's like,
Now, Z, I got to ask though, and with everything you're saying, there's a lot of people who are surprised to hear that be the first defenseman off the board, given we've gotten Anton Salayev.
We have no defenseman off the board.
Of Shunov. Like, yeah. Sorry.
He's a center.
He's a
Anyway,
center.
He's a forward. Same thing.
Disregard.
What's
That's
the
what I get
difference?
for not listening.
Can he
Yeah, so-
defend as a forward?
He can. There you go.
But will he?
Oh yeah. He's phenomenal. He's great. He's one of the best two-way centers in the WHL, and he's been one of the best two-way centers in the WHL for a couple of years. He is elite.
So does that mean Montreal is going to go back-to-back years being the first one to take a defenseman? And will Montreal fans basically make the person want to kill themselves? Because I hope that's not the case.
You can't say that on YouTube. Stop.
Well,
I didn't mean it.
Just did.
I didn't say he should. I said, will it make him want to?
I mean, but that was such a fucking shit. Was that last year?
Wasn't
it?
It
Was such a fucking shit show last year, dude. Like, I still can't believe that was the thing.
Yes, I'll say what Cosgrove
You can say that. You can say that.
It's a more PC version.
Yeah. All right. Let me pull up.
Bluey Tide. Jesus.
He's gonna throw a defenseman to the Habs to watch the world burn.
Yeah, probably.
Hey, what's up, Andrew? Any thoughts on Utah? I hope they name them the Stormin' Mormons.
There will be thoughts on Utah after this pick.
Soon.
We'll probably spend a lot of time on Utah.
What's it coming here? 8-hour streaming coming.
Yeah, most likely. Jesus, I think last time it was what, like 4?
It was long. It was long.
Wait, the actual draft or the draft lottery?
I can't remember. The lottery went.
Both you guys went
like 4 or 5 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, that one was like really long, but even this one went, I think, over 3 last time.
No.
Yeah.
Maybe. Oh fuck! Rangers are up 1-0. Gross.
That didn't take long.
I mean, half a period.
Yeah.
Everyone's giving Hoppy. Everyone's giving you alternative things you could say in the live chat.
This is phenomenal, by the way. I need to bookmark all of this. Take a forever sleep. Make him commit Bluey Tide. Unalive themselves. I need more people. Give me all of the options I can use that won't get us demonetized for what I attempted to say earlier.
Anyways.
All right,
we got next.
On to much. Oh, hang on. We have for Seattle preemptively. Seth has the handle of the Kraken.
Gorgeous bottle. This is one of my favorite bottles, honestly. That's
a cool bottle.
It is like, and appropriately enough, Vegas shot glass for the NHL draft.
The Vegas.
Oh, because it's at the Sphere. Yeah. It's at the Sphere.
Yeah.
Now they don't do it anymore, and it's a bummer. But they, for about 1.5 years, they had some limited edition, which I didn't know was limited edition. But they had a coffee Kraken, and like I tell you what, my dad crushed that shit. I would bring that up to the cabin up north. By the time I came back 2 weeks later, the bottle was gone.
It was good.
Dangerous. On ice, just delightful. It's basically an espresso martini, just straight from the bottle. And Seth's got his first one down. All right, Z, talk Montreal.
5. Going back and forth. If we really want to watch the world burn and take another defenseman, because at this point, I want to. Well, I don't want them to take a swing on anything good. I don't want this to work out for them at all.
All right, hang on. Z, let's go this way. Let's go this way. They're probably going to take a defenseman. I'll let you make that distinction yourself. But I want to hear if they went forward, who they'd take, and if they went defenseman, who they'd take.
Yeah, and I do think I actually am going to end up with a defenseman. I'm going to go ahead and go on full upside because the thought of Cole Hudson playing on the same team as Zane Parekh, right shot D-man out of Saginaw, just got OHL defenseman, possibly player of the year. He's setting record. He set every scoring record for defenseman in the OHL this season. And like he has taken quite a few steps defensively, just in terms of like actual engagement. But I mean, he put up 96 fucking points this year for Saginaw as a defenseman. His rookie year in the OHL, he put up 21 goals in 50 games for Saginaw. He is unbelievable. And he plays with a little bit of edge too. So I love that. But like the thought of him and Cole Hudson on the same, like the same D pair, they probably have the puck the whole time. But he plays like it is. He's breaking ankles. He scored one of the best goals, possibly the goal of the year couple weeks ago in the OHL in overtime. I think it was like his 87th point, and it was just a joke. It was like to cap off like a 3-0 deficit, comes back in overtime, and then he puts up this ridiculous SportsCenter top 10 mode goal. But just the thought of like taking a swing on that upside there, I love it. And I do think Zane Parekh is going to go very, very high, just because like at this point, the talent level is just undeniable. And I think he can at least make himself. Yeah, there you go. And I think he can make himself a useful defense.
That is New York Rangers OJHL.
No, I had to do a triple take.
Yeah, that was like a quadruple take.
Yeah, I definitely.
And I've been to North York.
That's how good he is. He played in the NHL at 15. You know, like that's how good he was.
I didn't realize it wasn't New York until you just mentioned it, and I read it probably 6 times.
All right, but to avoid any Montreal fans unaliving themselves, Z, if they went forward, which they probably will, right? They've got to go forward. What forward would you take at this point with the players that have already come off the board?
If they did, if they didn't have, well, I don't know if I would actually have the balls to do it, but if they didn't have Cole Caulfield there, is that where you just go, fuck it, we'll take the other insane goal scorer with that pretty much gives you nothing else? And Cole Yzerman, dude, imagine him, and they're like, who do we give the puck to? I don't know. He just set the record for the USN TDP most goals in the season, like eviscerated it. He is.
Wait, he did? I thought he was still a couple behind.
Yeah, no, okay. He just did.
Oh, he just did. Okay. Now, this
I don't know if
line aside, do you think Cole Yzerman, with how things have gone for him this year, like Corey Pronman's saying he might not even be a top 10 guy?
No, I think he'll go outside the top 10 at this point. Like,
wow.
Part of it is definitely, a lot of it has to do with the fact that he gives you one style. Like, he's not driving a line at all. He needs someone to give him the puck. He gives you almost nothing, like in terms of a two-way game. And like when you need that much help getting the puck yourself, that's going to obviously limit the goal scoring. But like there really isn't anyone in this draft that does what he does best better than him. Like he is the best goal scorer in this draft. And like he can score in a variety of ways. But again, like how many times he's going to find himself in different situations to score? It's going to be pretty reliant on teammates. So that's probably at this point the combination of that and how many guys have just like skyrocketed this year, like coming out of nowhere. Like we didn't have them in the first round. Now they're projected top like 15. That's hurting him too. Yeah. But I mean, no one scores goals like him, like in this draft. Like it is comical.
But that's it.
It's
right?
also look at that Cy Young. Look at that Cy Young right there. 25 goals, 9 assists. This is just the USHL stats. But I just in my head, it's funny to have him. Yeah, fuck it. If I was gonna take it forward, I'd just take Cole Yzerman because it'd be really funny to have him and fucking Cole Caulfield the same. 2 goals. There you go.
Whoa! Didn't even connect that part, but yeah, that makes sense. All right, Seth, we doing okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure.
Dropped my shot glass earlier, and so
I missed all that.
I was checking to make sure that I didn't break it, but I didn't.
Isha had like a whole ordeal once when he like had a sour beer that he spilled all over his computer.
No, it was with Seth.
I remember that.
First time. Yeah. Oh my God. So that laptop still works. Actually, I got it working again when I was back home visiting in November. But yeah, I was live and I spilled my entire beer on this laptop, and that's what we were streaming from. And I remember, oh man, yeah, that's one of the first live streams we did at like my office back at the old THPN days.
You can't say that anymore. That doesn't exist. Oh,
never heard of her.
Too soon. All right. I am going to replenish myself with a nooner and pee quick, but there's a lot to talk about just Utah hockey in general. I'll let you guys decide. Do we want to start on just Utah hockey period, or do we want to get Z's pick and then go into Utah hockey? Sweet. That sounds fun.
I'll make the executive decision. Let's do Z's pick first.
All right, Z. Break down the options for Utah at 6, and who do they ultimately pick if you're the GM?
I'm going defenseman, and I'm going Artyom Levshunov. now you've got him, Simashev, and you kind of fixed like the Soderblom or the Soderstrom problem. He has not really, been the guy they thought he was going to be. They took him very high a couple of years ago. But I go Artem Levshunov. Like what he did this year in college hockey for Michigan State as a true freshman is insane. I think he put up well over like 1.5 points per game. He's taking steps defensively. That's always going to be a big concern. But like, given how when he is engaged, how nasty he plays. Oh, so there was not. I was wrong. But whatever. Don't care. Gonna tell everyone I was right.
Don't care.
Yeah, don't care at all. But the thought of him and Simashev playing in the same pair is just incredible. Like two massive human beings who are some of the best skaters in the draft. His transition game is just unbelievable in terms of like offense. Plus, if you put him on a pair with Simashev is an elite defender with legit offensive upside. But if you pair him with Levshunov, you don't have to bank on that offense hitting for him to be an effective D-man. That's a ridiculous pair to think of for the future. So I go with Levshunov here. Again, what a year at Michigan State, 35 points in 38 games. And when he's engaged and when he feels like it, he is incredibly physical. He's going to have to just like the hockey IQ, the awareness, the decision-making is going to have to take a step just in terms, especially defensively. But, I think in the tournament this year, he made a couple questionable decisions too with the puck, but the upside is just comical. He plays like a forward almost sometimes, but sometimes on the back, when play starts going the other way, sometimes the controller dies. He's going to have to not do that if he wants to play big minutes in the NHL. But, and this is a guy that's probably looking at potentially going to the NHL next year as well. But in terms of like Utah making a big splash, taking one of the most highly coveted defensemen off the board here, and there's a good chance he'll be gone by now anyways at this point. But either way, if I'm them, I'm looking at a potential future D pair of Artem Levshunov and Dmitry Simashev, and I am running with that. So I take Levshunov here. He's a very, very fun player to watch.
I just love how far we have come that you can say sometimes on the back end, the controller dies and everybody is going to know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, no, everyone's like, oh shit. Okay. He unplugged. That's not good.
It's a very good description. It's a very vivid description. I don't know. I like it.
Wild fans immediately get the PTSD from Mr. Klingberg. Now, Z, in this scenario, let's say
that controller broke. It didn't die. It broke.
Let's say that the draft
Unplugged.
is laid out exactly as you've laid it out, 1 through 5. Can you see a world where the formerly Arizona Coyotes, now Utah, whatever you want to fill in,
Hockey team,
give comments, can they pass on the BFR? That's their MO, right? For those unaware, BFR is big fucking Russian.
Right.
They have a lot of them.
Yeah. It's right up there. I was thinking that too, but like just the fact they've already got Simashev there. But Simashev can play both sides, so maybe they look at that. But in my head, the thought of a deep pair of Simashev and Levshunov. I mean, like Levshunov's he's Belarusian, so like kind of. It's like little
still counts.
Gives a little hint of it,
Touch of the Russian. There we go.
Yeah.
I mean, they're banned from international play, so they count. Belarus.
Yeah, true. Dang. All right. Anything we want to talk about just with the existence now of hockey in Utah?
I've never needed a team to launch themselves into existence by taking the NHL by storm and figuring out a Mitch Marner trade. I've never needed it more in my life. Like
the live chat was saying that too.
You think they can beat Vegas to it?
It was actually driving me nuts. I was shocking at the last drop. Weird. I never go there. With my buddy Marinovsky, who's a Bruins beat guy. Well, actually, I guess now he's doing like prep school hockey out here. But I would like we were talking. I was like, if I'm Utah, clearly Mitch Marner, like I can't imagine he's going to want to be there for very long. Like, how does Utah not at least make the phone call? Like, hey, what are we thinking here? And then literally the next day, he was like, dude, you should tweet that out. And I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that at all. I'm in the middle of the playoff series. I can't possibly do this.
I'm
and
occupied.
literally the next fucking day, everyone was just like, I think it started with Wyshynski saying, I was talking with a hockey person, and like they were floating out the idea of Mitch Marner to Utah. And I don't know how they don't make that up. I was like, fuck, maybe I should have done it, but I didn't because I'm a coward. And now I can't take credit for it.
Dude, no.
But now when it doesn't happen, I can take credit for not saying it.
But is Cooley going to be part of the return?
No, they won't. There's no way.
How else do you consummate that deal? What do they want from Arizona?
Well, I bet so the thing with the Mitch Marner trade, if assuming that happens, and like at this point, I have no idea if that actually happens.
It happened.
Again, if you're a Marner, how the fuck do you want to spend 10 more minutes there? But like they don't want to take anyone
unalive himself, by the way.
Like the cap space is like the big appeal there, and like obviously picks or whatever. But like I bet if they want a defenseman, they want a kid like Sean Durzi. Like he's young, right shot D-mid, like played playoff games for LA. He's been solid, so like they can kind of like fill one of those needs while just obtaining more futures. He's not going to be taking up a big part of their cap, so.
It was a 1-for-1.
And then there's prospect. Yeah, 1-for-1, actually. Jersey from Runners right now. But
oh, shit. Are we all on board with Yetis, by the way? Like, I support it.
I'd be down.
They're not going to do Storm and Mormons. They're not going to do Smokers. They're not going to do anything fun.
Yeti's the realistic option.
Guys, does Joe Smith have to, like, move and cover this team? Are none of you familiar with the Mormon faith?
Joseph
Smith was a prophet. Dum 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 dum.
Do you think there was a small part of him that panicked when they announced that they're going to Utah? Like, he was like, no. I just got here, bro. I can't. Like, please don't do this.
I'm about to have a kid. Like, this isn't gonna work.
Did he get like a follower boost?
Yeah,
he might have.
Hey, get this guy.
I'm gonna talk him into changing his display name from Joe to Joseph.
Oh,
Ryan Smith, the owner, called him immediately.
He's like,
whoa, what do you think here?
Tablets. Yes, we're done. Set.
Ryan Smith offered him AGM spot, you know, like fucking.
How do you turn that down?
Yeah.
Although he does like his alcoholic beverages like the rest of us, so I don't know how that would work.
Yeah, no, that he's gonna have to like. Yeah, no, he'd have to.
He's gonna have to find a mule.
Yeah.
Man,
right in the stroller.
Oh, actually, I prefer Yeti to Yetis. I don't care if it isn't the correct plural. It sounds better.
I think Cosgrove's trolling because of how pissed everyone gets about the Wild not being able to be pluralized.
100%.
I can't tell if he's trolling or not here because that's actually like a good comment.
Cosgrove doesn't comment without trolling, Isha.
No, I mean, there's like one out of his 10 comments on my streams, anyways. You're
giving him exactly what he wants right now. He is loving it. He probably just got a nice
He went all in on two
Full
pairs.
House.
He is riding the rush.
Oh, jeez.
What a beauty.
All right. Let's go to number 7, which is
we'll get there, Poulter.
Kind of like the Ducks, just a little bit more advanced. But like Z, I feel like we've stocked the cupboard as much as we can for Ottawa, and we keep on saying they're going to get through. They just hired their new coach in Travis Green, not Dean Evison, to Wild fans' chagrin. We are not sending Freddie Evison to Ottawa. Who do the Senators take at 7?
I'm going to keep the run on D-man going here. I'm going to go Sam Dickinson. London Knights, big left shot D-man, put up 70 points, I think, this year in the OHL. And that's the team that's going to the OHL championship or the finals. They just actually took down.
Surprise. London Knights going to the OHL championship.
Yeah, weird. But he's got legit upside. He's incredibly mobile, one of the better skaters as far as defensemen go in this draft. He's obviously big. He's not like he's physical, but he does a real good job of towing the line. He's not going to take dumb penalties, but like there is legit offensive upside there too. But like his main calling card is his defending ability. So now you're looking at a team potentially having him and Jake Sanderson on your back end. You've got two top legit high ceiling defenseman for the left side. He can play on the right as well. Like He is very, very good. And like, again, while he did put up 70 points, his big calling card is his defending. So I think Ottawa would look at him and be very happy to have him along with Sanderson. Again, he can play the right side as well. But you're going to use him. He's going to hit the NHL. He could probably give you pretty soon, like 25 minutes a night, any situation. So I go to Sam Dickinson here.
Fun. Way too logical.
Bro, do you guys usually have 1,000 bots watching on Twitter? Is this the norm?
Mm-hmm. Not 1,000. No, not 1,000.
Dude,
It's
shout out to the
usually like
1,000
500.
bots watching. Bunch of
Dude,
dudes.
so Elon's got to figure this out. I mean, I put up, what was the tweet I sent out? It was just ridiculous. It was something
A lot of
so
porn
dumb.
bots?
My nudes
my
are in
God.
my profile.
It's unbelievable. It was. I gotta find it.
I saw one
yeah.
recently from our boy Carlo Isha, where like one of the porn bots replied to him right away, and he quotes it like, "Not now. Vegas is in the playoffs."
Yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah, like I can't deal with it. I can't deal with you right now, Ashley.
Oh,
Please.
man.
Not yet.
I tweeted out that
Love
Sergei
Carlo.
Bobrovsky's play in the first period was somewhere between like incredibly leaky and borderline Hall of Fame worthy at the same time. And I don't really know how I feel about that. Immediately, 2 responses: nudes and profile, nudes and profile. I was like, what the Elon? Come on, bro. Like, figure it out. That guy sucks. But fuck you. Come on. I don't need this in my life. I'm trying to focus here.
These nudes are MBN highlights. Period.
Yeah, true. I did tweet that out, and then someone from some dude from like that is in here. I don't know if he's in here today, but he responds immediately, nudes and profile. And I was like, all right, now I'm intrigued. All right, you have my attention.
Urban, Ottawa has so much talent already. Why do they suck? Well, a lot of the talent hasn't popped yet. A lot of the talent
What
in
pop?
their
No. What talent hasn't popped?
well, they still have one of the better prospect pools.
Explain.
I don't have it up. I don't even take in notes. I just put one of
Make the fucking comment.
well, because I'll get there. I was listening to a couple breakdowns today, and that was one of the reasons why they said they're going to go defense heavy because they need someone to play with Sanderson who pops, and they have offense that they're
is one of their young studs, right?
yeah.
Okay, just piecing this together.
I listened to probably 50 of the 82 Locked On Senators postcasts this year, and I think in 49 of them they referenced the goaltending specifically.
Goaltending has
you know
been
what?
such a fucking problem for
The
them.
Wild
And
have a
like,
goalie. The Wild have a goalie available. I'm not sure if they're familiar with him, but his name is Philip
have they ever
Gustafsson.
heard of him? I don't know if they've ever heard of him.
If Gustafsson gets traded, I need it to be either to Ottawa or LA. I will accept nothing else.
I really want that LA trade.
What about New Jersey, as our boy Urban says?
Dude, Markstrom's going there. Everyone knows it already. Not happening.
He wants it so bad. He got blue
Also,
ball
what
at
for
the deadline?
Wait. The Wild are going to get 10 overall.
Yeah, I don't
for
think they're getting 10
Gustafsson in a
overall.
fifth? What the?
Not even in this year's draft.
All right, I changed my mind. I
I'm in.
I do not need him to go to LA or Ottawa. I need him to go to New Jersey if that's the return. Holy shit.
Many are saying this.
All right. Z number 8. We have the Seattle Kraken, who just recently fired a North Dakota coach, and Seth is doing another Kraken shot. Here we go.
Why?
Oh, he's definitely excited about it. You can tell by the great facial expressions.
Yeah, because I just had a bunch of shrimp cocktail. That's gonna pair well.
Oh,
What?
In what world did you rush home from work and be like, yeah, I'm going to crush some shrimp?
Wait.
I had a craving for shrimp. Get off me.
Get off me.
You had a craving for shrimp.
Bro, we're not even halfway through the draft.
the craving for shrimp.
Oh, as one does.
Somehow, with 5.4 seconds left, Carolina's up 2-1.
Wow.
That's fun.
Who scored it? Oh, Gensel.
He does not have a shrimp for you. Sorry, Seth.
Oh, God. That's so good. All right. Let me focus in on the fucking Seattle Kraken now. Jesus Christ.
we're gonna take a big swing here. Another boost for the Seattle Kraken fan base. Big name brand recognition here. We're going Tij Ginla from the Kelowna Rockets.
Oh, I like
that.
Ooh.
I
What
love
he
it.
did this year, what he did in the WHL this season was unbelievable.
U18 Canada
mean-
gold medal winner, not a big deal.
Yes, he was 64. Oh, and there you go. The stats are up. 47 goals, 84 points in 64 games this year
What a
for
jump.
like a pretty decent Kelowna team. But it was him every game that they were winning. It was on his stick. Like he single-handedly won them at least like 15 games this year. The WHL. He
Well,
like
Z,
the upside
they were far
is
from the best team in their division,
unbelievable.
the Kelowna.
Oh yeah, like. And it was literally him driving the bus. Like every time he touched the puck, he was making something happen. Like the playmaking took like 10 steps forward this year. The goal scoring is undeniable. Like, and he just approached the game the right way. Like obviously, like having your dad be Jerome McKinley probably like helped a little bit.
Doesn't hurt.
Yeah, it's
I don't know.
and
It
look
didn't
at
work for the Czech boys. No.
yeah, true. That's a good point. They're losers.
Tkachuk. I don't know. How would Isha
and-
pronounce that?
Yeah.
Takachik.
Tkachuk.
Yeah.
Pikachu.
Before this year, he was playing in Seattle WHL as well, so he's got some familiarity there. So I take Tij Ginla. Like he is one of the most fun players to watch in this class. Like he highlight reel play after highlight reel play, and like he started the season insanely hot, and it was like, all right, let's see if like whenever he's somewhere, like he's gonna plateau at some point, and he just got better and better and better as the season went on. So I think he's got insane upside. I think he's probably solidified himself as a top 10 pick. So if I'm Seattle, I'm taking a big swing here on the upside and Tij Ginla, and I'm pretty confident that he hits in the NHL. He is incredible.
Dude, and just take a second on it, Z, because I was talking about this before you jumped on, but like beginning of the year, we were like, yeah, like he might go in the 20s to late teens to mid teens to he's a prime target for the Wild. And I'm like, now Z's probably got him between like 7 and 10. Here he goes at 8. Like, what have you seen in his growth? Like, is it more about him showing more, or is it other people falling?
Oh, it's him showing more. Like legitimately if you could watch every highlight of all the Kelowna games this year, and half of it is Tij Ginla with the puck. And he's just so tenacious with the forecheck as well. Like, it's not just him picking up easy points against bad teams. Like, they're playing some of the best teams in WHL, and he's dominating. Like, he is right there.
Dean Evason's going to have
again,
a lot of fun with him in Seattle.
Oh, there we go. Love that.
Team's not going to Seattle.
Where is Winnipeg the leader in the clubhouse now? For
That's
Dean?
so funny.
That would be
so
fun
funny.
if he replaced the Jellyfish Man. That would be fun.
He outlasted Rick Bones.
And Z,
It's so weird to me, by the way, that there's still beef like between like people are like, oh, now bonus chart is you gonna blah, blah. Like him and fucking Evason literally saw each other at like the coaches meetings, like, and they were like, what the fuck was that? He goes, I don't know. Like, they were laughing. They were like, that was funny.
Just trying to start shit.
Just like Boudreaux and Wah. Crazy.
That was my favorite. I was going to bring up when Boudreaux, like, he's like, I see Dean sometimes like at the grocery store. I don't want to look at him. And I was like, that's kind of fucked up. Like,
we just had him on. He is tomorrow, if you're watching this live, for Fellowship of the Rank. And we'll just say he was afraid for his life when Patty Wah was coming through the glass.
he's the fucking best, man.
Dude,
like he is
elite.
Bruce is amazing.
You did ruin it though, Z. One pick before Calgary
may have had something to do with it. May have had to do it.
Oh, look, and then Mateo says it too. Yeah, like that could have been we would have been monetized for the year just off of that one video. But now that you've decided Seattle is taking Tij Ginla, who does Calgary take as their consolation prize at 9?
So this is one that's good. Calgary has an interesting prospect pool as is.
That's one way to describe it.
That's a polite way
It
of putting it.
is. Yeah.
Hey, 1,000 bots. Let's go.
He's
This
just
would be-
generally interested by just emptiness.
Hey, Twitter bots,
Yeah.
get in a discussion about Bitcoin.
I
Now.
am subscribing to Twitter Blue as we speak.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. I'm stuck between two.
Talk about him.
So if I'm going defenseman here, this is where I start thinking about Silayev because he kind of fits. He kind of fits a lot of the D-men that they're looking at. Like
They lost
they've got the
Zadorov
size
and
combo. Yeah, they lose Zadorov. But he also gives them the element that a lot of the defensemen that pool don't have in terms of like some kind of like legit offensive upside, but like the skating ability and just like the fact that he can give you 25 minutes of pretty reliable play. So if I'm going defenseman, I'm thinking a kid like Silayev. But if I'm going forward, and this is what I'm going back and forth on here, I think that a kid. Oh no, I'm thinking of another one. Actually, another thing about it. God damn it. Ugh.
Just pick one. Just pick one.
No, I know it's hurting. It's causing me actual pain. Yeah, you know what? Fuck, I'm sticking with Silayev. I'm gonna go Silayev here. They've drafted a good amount of.
No. Who were you thinking about? You had a name right there.
He had two.
No, I had two forwards I was thinking of here.
Take the leap. Take the leap.
If I was going to take the big
That
swing,
could also replace one of the
home run, I was thinking a kid like Beckett Seneke. That's a Calgary Flame. Like that's probably quite the reach. Well, not quite the reach, but like a reach for sure. But like what he's shown this year, especially down the stretch and in the playoffs for Oshawa, like the size, how mean and tough he is, plus just like the ridiculous skill and high end upside. I think they would love that in Calgary. But then if you want one of the most well-rounded players in the draft at forward, I was looking at Consta Hellenius as well.
I heard he's just falling now after the U18s, no?
What?
According to The Athletic, being prominent Wheeler, he didn't look that great in U18s.
The first two games he was legit, like he was phenomenal, and then Finland kind of fell off. The same thing with Emil.
Finland had higher expectations overall, and they just kind of fell off towards the end. So it wasn't just him, but yeah,
sure.
The first two games he was, and what he did, like look at the stats in fucking Liga this year, like that, like no players don't do that, like and he goes in his point per game in their playoffs, like he is legit.
That's 17,
like, he is real good. So. I wouldn't be shocked. And like they've drafted a couple of Finns lately. They've loved their Finns too recently. So, but just looking at the pool overall, I kind of think just given the mix they have in the back end right now in that prospect pool, I think Silayev is a guy. And like I forgot how many Russians that they've actually been taking like over the past couple of years and like acquiring through trade. So. I'll do it. I'll just go Silayev here. We hit over 1,000 bots. Let's go.
Dude, so PK Subban has like 7 necklaces on in the crowd for the Rangers. Oh, he takes it back. What do you do? I'm going to let you do over.
No, I
take the card away from Gary Bettman.
No, I can't take it back now. It's funny. I just realized that and I looked at the chat and Mateo said it. I mean, like, Carter Yakubchuk, big fucking right shot D-man, mean as shit, put up crazy points this year in the WHL, playing in Calgary in the WHL.
So do you want to take it back?
No, I already said it. I can't.
Right, it's done. You cannot take it back. I won't let you actually.
What if that happened? 13. What if that happened on the draft floor? Like, oh shit! Wait! They kicked them off. They get the fuck out of here.
Hold up! Wait a minute.
We were not paying attention. We were taking a piss break 10 minutes ago. We thought that kid went already. Like it was fuck.
Okay. So then we get to New Jersey at 10. Is the assumed pick Yakubchuk or what happens?
No, this one I go Hellenius.
Oh,
he's gonna be. He can play any position at forward. Again, unbelievably responsible two-way player. He showed his offensive upside in the Liga this year, and he showed that he's probably not far away from playing pro in North America. You give him another year playing in Finland, what he's doing over there is just comical. So I go Hellenius here. They've loved their Euros recently too. And they've got plenty of defensemen, like top top high-end defensemen already in their prospect pool. And now you've got the flexibility of a kid like Constantinius, who I do think in the NHL will most likely be a winger if he wants like top 6. But if you want him as like a third line center, he's also perfect for that position as well. Again, you're going to be able to use him in every area, in every situation. So I think a kid like Constantinius fits a whole lot of what New Jersey has going on already. So I go Helenius.
Fun. Okay. Seth, do you agree?
I do. I was deep in thought, but yes, I could not agree more.
If Jose Cuervo said it, would you agree more?
No. Kraken
He
rum.
really wants you to get on the Jose on a Tuesday.
No, that's
Kraken rum.
Hey, look at that, Isha. You should have
It's a
laughed
really
at
good
that
point.
with your weed water. That was a good rhyme.
It wasn't that good. It wasn't that
Jose
good.
on a Tuesday.
It wasn't that good.
Where's the beer bowl?
I was just gonna. I should actually go grab it. To be honest, I was thinking the same thing.
If it's not an IPA, fuck off.
I literally drank my last IPA.
Then don't do it, please.
I have hams.
Put
I don't need
hams in the beer bowl.
All right, we're doing hams in the beer bowl.
This is
We're
weird.
doing hams
All
in
right.
the beer bowl.
All right. The team that stole all of my hopes and dreams last year, Z, at 13, taking the guy you got me so excited about this year, 11th overall, Buffalo Sabres. Who do they take? Zach Benson, by the way, is the player in question.
I can't let him fall any farther.
I literally thought he was frozen for a sec.
It's never out of the realm of possibility.
Definitely not drinking weed beers. No chance.
Yeah.
Oh,
And they're pretty set on the back end already, but I don't think we can let Z William fall any farther.
Oh,
go
no,
Z
we need him
William
to
here.
fall. We need him to fall,
wait,
though.
you're talking about Yakimchuk for Calgary. He's not off the board yet, and you're going Booyam over. Yeah,
I like Booyam more than Yakimchuk as is.
all right.
Realistically, he's gonna go top. He will go top 10. Like that's just going to happen. Like look at that. Like 50, a true freshman, 50 fucking points in 42 games, national champion. Like he is absolutely incredible. And like the thing that drives me nuts about people assessing defensemen who put up a lot of points, like, oh, well, he's going to have to work. No, he is already such a strong defender. So he's not just getting points. He will play. Like, I think in the tournament, I think he was playing 29 minutes a night because he kills penalties. He's obviously on their first power play. Like, he can quarterback a power play. Unbelievable at transition. You legitimately cannot forecheck him. Like, I don't think I've ever seen him get blown up and, like, get the puck taken away from him on the back end. Again, like the thing that makes it weird with Buffalo is how many young, high potential left shot demon they've already got. But Z William is another guy that can play either side. Doesn't really matter. And realistically, they might look at a kid like Yakimchuk, and he might be the guy they're looking at. Like, finally, we have that big like right shot D-man who like kind of fits that mold. But like I can't possibly let Z William fall any farther. So I still lean hard. Z William. That's such a fun back end for a prospect pool. Like it is comical. So
I mean, it's not even a prospect pool anymore. They're all in the NHL right now.
Yeah, fair enough.
Right. But it is crazy to think that they could have that on their blue line. They're going to have to be trading several guys here in the next couple of years, which, I mean, good problem to have, I guess.
Yo, I got to just give a quick shout out to Notorious. He's saying, happy for Sharks. As a Hawks fan, they've never picked first, so good for them.
Yeah, you skipped the first half where he doesn't like us. But yeah. All right, whatever.
That might have been me having shared that the draft lottery was definitely rigged.
Oh no, I've thought that for a while. And let's be clear, like hand up, even though people like to say like, oh, how did Pittsburgh get Sidney Crosby? Like they did have the highest odds, but also you knew that if the team is about to move, they were going to rig it for him. And I have no problems with it. I will not apologize. I don't care. I acknowledge it. Just like
apologize for greatness.
Acknowledge that Bedard was handed to them, even though they are a scumbag organization that, well, let certain unforgivable things pass. So we'll move on. Speaking of unforgivable things, the Philadelphia Flyers. Z,
What a segue.
Could we imagine?
Losers.
Could you imagine if ESPN went through all the trouble to have Celebrini at the draft lottery and then San Jose is like, nah, we're good.
Maybe if there was someone that was even debatable for contending with him, like if we're talking McDavid and Eichel, sure, I'll hear you. I don't see anyone.
It's pretty clear cut.
Close.
It's pretty clear cut. It's just a funny
local tie, but yeah, it's fun.
I saw the comment graze the bottom of the screen, so I was like, that actually would be funny.
Z, before I get sad about whoever Philly snakes away from the Wild, how fucking insane is it that they're even picking at 12 with their start to the season?
It was really funny too, because they were like literally in second place in the Metro. They were like approaching the deadline, and then fucking the reporters are asking Tortorella, like, so like, what do we like? Obviously, this wasn't the start that everyone expected. And you guys have kind of just like kept it going. Like, are we thinking about making any big swings deadline here? And he was like, no, we're gonna be selling. Like, oh shit! All right,
jeez.
I don't know if you're aware. I'm the GM, and Danny Briere is my puppet bitch.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
Danny Briere is the name tag. I'm the one wearing it.
Like he literally like, and it was crazy because like it wasn't like they were just getting lucky wins. When you looked at their like underlying numbers, they were a very good hockey team, and he was like, "No, we're not there yet. Nope, we're going to be selling at the deadline. Why would we?" He was basically like, "Why would we buy?" Like, I don't know what. And like, realistically, fair enough, I guess. But like,
weird for the coach. So weird.
He literally like in a press conference, just like, "No, fuck that. We're going to be selling anyone that we can, and we're going to be continuing to pick up futures here." Like, so I wasn't shocked when like they fell off at the end. I was like, well, he said he was going to do it, and then they sucked because they got rid of everybody. So like, I don't know. Weird.
Right. And then he followed it, Z, with, whenever someone plays the Flyers, they just play to let the Flyers beat themselves.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And they were still in it last game of the year. That's what's crazy. Like they still were. It was that ridiculous last two games where like they were eliminated. Or no, not that. Who was
only
it?
They had
Detroit.
better.
Detroit got eliminated because Philadelphia won in regulation 2-1 on an empty net goal.
If only they had better technology at their disposal.
Steve Yzerman has never wanted to punch someone so bad.
He was just like, "What the fuck, John?" And he was like, fuck it. Like, suck on that. Yeah.
We got 12.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah. All right. So wait. Who's Philly taking? Do we even get? We didn't even get
true grit. They're taking Rocky Balboa the 5th.
They've already got the statue, so no need. Yeah, who does Philly take?
He's like, I don't even want to make a pick.
I thought we were just making fun of Philly. All right, pass.
No, I know who I'm going to say. I mean, like, this is where we were just talking about Carter Yakimchuk. Like, if you want to find a Philadelphia Flyer on the back end, I mean, this year, I think he put in 66 games in WHL this season. He scored 30 fucking goals, 120 penalty minutes. A lot of those were 10s for just like putting someone through the glass, but he fought a bunch too.
He ended a bunch.
And he showed offensive upside this year that like he's always had a little bit in there. But the fact he put up 30 fucking goals, 55 assists, 30 goals, 41 assists for 71 points and 120 penalty minutes. Like he was on the ice only half the time that he could have been. He went off. Like, look at even the year before he still put up 19, which like it's impressive. So he does have that offensive upside. He is fucking mean. Like finishes every hit. If it's a close game, the buzzer goes and it's a 2-1 loss, he's probably starting something as well. So I think Carter Yakimchuk to Philly, like he'll be an instant fan favorite just because of his whole style of play. Like he'll give you, and I'm not comparing the two players because it's not comparable at all, but like almost like a Chris Pronger type guy where he's just like, yeah, he's got that offensive flair, but like he's going to be killing you in front of the net, slashing guys on the hands, trying to fight everybody, throwing big hits. Like he probably attempts 45 hits a game. Like he wants to take everyone's fucking head off, which is like part of his problem is sometimes he'll go searching for a hit. This year he reeled it in a little bit, but the combination of just like the offensive upside that he showed this year, plus his ability to defend and like the toughness and meanness that he showed, I think Philly would be like, yeah, no, that's our guy. I think there's a chance he still goes like top 10 though, just because like the profile, like NHL teams are gonna love that.
I do feel like there's a good chance that like Hellenius slips, Yakimchuk is somewhere in the like 6 to 10 range, but I mean at this point we're splitting hairs. It's what did people think? And
I can't wait to see how not close this mock. Like it's not gonna be.
No, it's not going to be close at all, but that's because GMs are dumb and they're not going to listen to what you say. This is
I will
pick,
do a shot
predictions.
for every pick that is not right on draft night.
Seth, you're not allowed to fail, by the way, for the locked on bullshit draft.
Clip
You have
it.
to stay here for all of it. You have to be here.
I'm calling
for all
out.
Clip it.
I just called out of work tomorrow. I'm gonna go picking out a casket for Seth. He will be dead 5 picks.
I'll be in my hotel.
I want it to be a 2-person casket because I'm going to join him.
I'll be in my hotel room in Vegas, overseeing the draft on TV and in on this, and just
Seth's
What are you
gonna go to
drinking? What are
Vegas.
you drinking?
Oh, it's a little too early to make.
No. I am very
this is-
interested now.
This is Jesus's Last Supper. What is your last beverage?
Oh boy.
You got the
I
St.
got-
Jesus beard, so
I mean,
You just need a chain.
last drink to ever touch my lips would have to be some sort of bourbon. I'll go with Woodford Reserve.
Oh,
you wow.
good fucking call.
By the way,
Yeah,
shout out 150th
Heyo.
Derby that
I-
Isha would not dabble in on Saturday with me. Asshole.
You didn't ask.
I didn't fucking ask. How dare you?
No,
You didn't.
despite my exterior appearance of Kraken rum, Ron Diaz, and whatever else, I do enjoy a good bourbon every now and again.
By the way, I really enjoy thinking about Seth. Like I'm going to Vegas for the draft, but he actually watches the draft from his hotel room and just gets absolutely wrecked, but just goes to Vegas. And he's like, yeah, the fucking draft is happening like 2 miles away, but I just.
No,
Speech
he's going day
part of-
2. That's going for day 2. Day 2 tickets are a lot cheaper. He's a smart guy. He's a smart guy. I've gone to day 2 drafts before.
Full
They're
day experience,
better
day
deal.
2 at the Sphere. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, there you go.
Day 2 is absolute.
Dude, I've gone to
chaos.
day 2 draft in Vancouver. It was awesome.
I mean, Z, you and I are going to stream Saturday day 2 now that it's on a Saturday instead of a Friday, right?
My God, probably that's gonna be brutal.
Let's do it.
Gonna be
By the way,
absolutely.
Isha, you're gonna have to charge to the Soda Pod account 2 IVs, maybe 3,
Yeah.
maybe 3.
Yeah. It's gonna be
Noted.
like we're gonna be halfway through like the 6th round, and I'll be like, "Who are you taking here?" I'm like, I don't even know who is like. I don't know any of these guys anymore.
Who's picking?
is
Why are we
Matthew
still
Celebrini
talking
still
about
available?
this?
It's me. I'm taking me here.
Who did we
taking
trade
me.
John Merrill
I'm
for?
30. Yeah.
All right. We're gonna spend some time here, and Z, I want you to talk through at
Take
least
one
3
guess.
options, but we can go with several beyond it. I know who you're gonna say, but I need to hear several options for the views, for the listeners. We need to go through multiple options. At 13, your Minnesota Wild, as Seth Topol of Locked On Wild and the Soda Pod takes yet another Kraken shot.
Oh boy, that's
Z,
gonna be.
I want you to first lay out who you see as possible options, given who's still on the board at number 13 for the Minnesota Wild, and then we can get into each of them individually. But give me a list of anywhere from 3 to 5.
Michael Brent said Nygaard. Right wing. Well, he plays both, but most likely right wing. Mora, my favorite player in this draft. He is already pretty close to being NHL ready. He is an elite 2-way forward. He's got an elite shot. He is virtually never out of position. Like, despite the fact that he's not the strongest skater in the world, he is more than capable of defending against the rush as well. He eliminates like any kind of scoring chance before it happens. Like he'll break up plays in neutral zone, then start the transition himself. He literally can do everything. Like he doesn't really have any glaring weakness in his game. This year he had a slow start in terms of actual point production, but this is what I've said before. I have never witnessed a hockey player with worse puck luck ever. I think he hit 6 posts in the first few games. He was serving up backdoor tap-ins that missed. Mora was also a very, very strong team in the Allsvenskan this year. And, he starts out as obviously draft eligible. He starts out in their 4th line. By the time, I think probably a week or 2 after the World Juniors, he was firmly supplanted in their first line. And I think he had put up points in 8 of their first 10 games after the World Juniors. Had a phenomenal playoff. No Norwegians ever gone the first round. He will absolutely be the first.
Is he a Swede?
And if you look at, he is technically, we're calling him a Swede because he plays in Sweden, and that's what we're going to do. He's phenomenal. Like literally, the fact that he is just not far from playing in the NHL already as is, it's a big plus. The only real question mark, again, this is what we said, I think literally I was talking about this like an hour ago, is just how much more upside is there, how much like more development is there for him. I still think there's plenty, just given like his offensive weapons. That in the Allsvenskan, it's a tough league to score, and especially as a young player, like it's not a high scoring league at all. But just given his growth this year in terms of like actually being willing to like use his shot, like experiment with the playmaking, I've seen a whole other like level of his offense. And I mean, I think he played like maybe 10 games in the J20, and it was like 22 points. Like he was just so much better than literally everybody his age. And then he didn't go to the U18s because he went to go play with like the senior team for Norway. They played Denmark. First game, I think the Allsvenskan, he had been eliminated 3 days before. They win 4-3. He put up 4 goals. Like, he is just unbelievable. So when you look at the prospect pool that Minnesota has, it's one of the most well-rounded, like most diverse prospect pools in the league. Like, you've got guys that are just like sharpshooters, snipers. You've got like some top D-men. Like, you've got I mean, Huzadinov now, I would say, graduated to the NHL. Like, I don't see him playing in Iowa next year. Like, I think he firmly showed that he can play. Like, Liam Ogren, we'll see what happens with him. Like, I think very small sample size, but he looked more than ready to play. And like how well he played in the SHL this year, that gives you a boost as well there too. But the fact that you can literally plug this kid in all 4 lines, doesn't matter. He's not going to change the way he plays. He's going to be incredibly effective. I think if he's sitting there at 13, which he should be, I think it's a no-brainer. But I mean, this is something that I've said for like a fucking year now, so we can like talk about other guys too that might be some possibilities. But for me, MBN is just like, it's a no-brainer if he's sitting there.
No, fair. And Seth, I know you've talked to other people about potential picks for this spot. I don't know, is there anyone that's like stood out as like you've heard this name multiple times, or are there any guys you want to throw in before Z goes down the rest of his potential list?
No, I think it's the biggest question I have is whether Bill Guerin hits Danny Briere with a steel chair, or Bill Guerin and Judd Brackett do the Dudley drop through a table if Briere takes Yakubchuk at 13, because he 12. Just seems 12. Thank you. He just seems like the perfect fit for the Minnesota Wild. The type of player that just is what Bill Guerin is looking for. I just hope, honestly, and I haven't started to do my draft prep yet. I just hope that the Wild go BPA this year as opposed to drafting for like specific need like they did last year. Like, if you have a defenseman that falls to 13 that you like, do it. If not, just add another forward to the chest. Like, I don't know. I just hope we don't get a pick that is as widely talked about as last year's.
Right. We definitely don't want to end up with another Riley Heidt. I agree. That's going to be our like new bit. Like,
yeah,
Charlie Stramel or Riley Heidt? Who is he?
By the way, everyone's looking out for you, Seth. Flyer Voracek. All monetization from the Soda Pod should go towards Seth's ambulance bill on draft night. We got Notorious. Make him drink liquid IV all day. He'll be fine. Which, by the way, with all these bots now, with all these viewerships, we need them as a sponsor.
Yeah, right. That would work.
Or just eat avocado and asparagus.
Oh,
There you go.
I'm gonna slug avocado all day.
Oh, cuttlefish and asparagus? Or vanilla paste?
That's such a good bet.
It sucks
such
that
a
like
good
the
bit.
episode is so like morbid and gross, but like the bit is so goddamn funny. That combined with I'm telling you, my mom, she's like a very sheltered person. Like she doesn't like watch vulgar things at all, but she loves South Park as long as I screen it for her. And that was the one time that I'm like, no, you need to watch this regardless. She about pissed her pants at Cartman dealing with his mom at Best Buy being like, oh, sure. Do you mind taking me out to dinner quick? Because I like to be wine and dine before I get fucked. About her getting him a non-Apple iPad and getting him the Toshiba Handybook instead. I
love that.
believe in you.
Honestly, it makes it funnier seeing the outtakes and how many times it took them to record.
I
those
was
lines.
just thinking that. I was thinking about bringing that up on screen quick, but I was like, no, we gotta continue.
The first time I saw that on TikTok, I was crying laughing.
Oh,
It's so good. So good.
All right, but let's all right, back to focus. Z, who are some of the other guys that, let's say MBN's gone or that Judd just hates him? That's not realistic, but whatever. Give me a couple other names that you feel like would be interesting options for the Wild here at 13.
Well, one that would be incredibly interesting, and the slide will have to stop eventually, is do they just take a run at Cole Yzerman, like the best goal scorer in the draft, decommitted from Minnesota to go to BU, like just the ultimate fucking heel move, take the best goal scorer in the draft. Like, they've obviously got guys that can score goals in their prospect pool, but no one that can score goals like Cole Yzerman. You've got a ton of centers now after the last couple of years that can make plays that are going to get him the puck. Do you take a swing there? And again, there are the obvious question marks about his overall game. I can't imagine that he's a player that wouldn't drive a guy like Bill Guerin fucking up a wall. But he's also a guy, I think, like, and I mean, you're projecting years down the line, but let's say John Hines is still here. I think he is a player that absolutely could work with John Hines. Just given Hines' background and the type of players that he's coached over the last few or before the NHL. But that's one that's incredibly interesting to me, just because, again, number one, the slide does have to stop eventually. Number two, the storylines are incredible. But like, you know, we raise all these questions, but at the end of the day, nobody can score goals in this draft like Cole Yzerman. If you want the best player available, you take the guy that's got, like, he does the thing that's the most valuable in the NHL. Like, he does that thing better than literally everybody in this draft. So the combination of all those things could be an incredibly interesting just like pick there. And it's not out of the realm of possibility, to be completely honest with you, because Cole Yzerman, like, as much as we knock him for the overall play, I will call on you eventually. Please sit down in your chair, please. Yeah, thank you for raising your hand. But like, he has shown at times that he is interested and he is engaged and he can be effective, but it's just so few and far between. He's smart enough to know that he can't just do what he's doing right now at the NH. Like, he does, like, there's no way. Like, everyone's told him this, but then you're like, all right, is he that stubborn then? But what he does in terms of scoring goals, like, it's undeniable. So the storyline, the upside, and just like the slide has to stop. So it's just incredibly intriguing to me. Like, would they do it? And I mean, like, you would love to not miss on this pick. And I don't think Cole Yzerman's going to be missed. He's going to be a very good NHL player. I do think that.
Could be a miss.
So
Goligoski moves the puck from behind the net up to John Merrill, up to Marcus Johansson, over to Cole Yzerman. He shoots, he scores!
My God. If Cole Yzerman is on the same NHL team as any of those players, something has gone catastrophically wrong.
That's unfortunate. Now, you couldn't have picked two more like polar opposite players. MBN has like moderate ceiling, but like his floor is basically touching the ceiling. You can't get into that room. Whereas Yzerman, like, you're walking into a palatial estate, like the floor is so low, the ceiling is so high. I just got to ask, with his goal scoring prowess, supposedly, do you think he is willing to put the work in the offseason and shoot pucks in his driveway?
Only if the Minnesota Wild go out and rehire Tim Army. Like, he's the only guy that can get that into these guys' heads and make them do it. I love that Beckman legitimately answered that question.
No, I was
and,
just gonna say, I love how on
put
the
the most
show how he
normal
was like,
spin
no,
on
like,
it possible.
Yeah, no,
Because realistically,
so, I
that
was
was
missing the net. I was hitting the post, so like it was honestly some good advice.
and like, but the way he explained it is definitely like the way Tim Army meant for it to come off. But just the fact that he went on that podcast, he was like, "Yeah, I told Beckman just go in his driveway and shoot pucks." I was like, "Are you out of your fucking mind? That's what you told him to do?" It's still so funny.
and he confirmed it. That's all I needed.
As long as he doesn't take a weekend off to golf, I will be fine.
And no burgers and milkshakes, as we've learned.
No golf for
Yeah,
charity,
no.
Seth. No
I
golf
don't
for
hope-
charity. Because we don't
Well,
want to take we don't want to take away from his
No
development now.
bowling either. No bowling either.
Whoa, hang on. I've heard that golf in the offseason leads to nepotism and buying your way onto Team USA under John Hines. So I think Boldy did everything right.
Many are saying this. Many. Wait, do you want? I have one more that I would love to throw out there because
Give it.
one
Send it.
of the most intriguing players in this draft, Trevor Connolly. Holy shit! The
That one came up earlier.
offensive flair, what this kid can do with the puck on his stick is otherworldly. He's gonna go to Providence next year and torch college hockey. He might be, in terms of just raw skill, he might be the most skilled player in this draft. Like, he is.
When you talk about torching, have you considered the swastikas?
Okay, I knew that was coming. I'm just gonna move on.
It was brought up before you jumped on, but it was a real discussion, and Isha couldn't pronounce swastika, so.
Wait,
Okay,
what?
great. Yeah, no, let's just stick on this. Let's just keep going here. Let's just not get out of
I'm
this
gonna go grab
one.
another beer.
Yeah.
He's out. He's out.
Yeah. Okay. You're taking, and I think there's a pretty good chance that he goes right around this range just because what he did in the USHL this year. The big question with him is, can he be less individualistic? Like, he needs to figure out more consistently how to use his teammates, but like every single time he touches the puck, he wants to make that fucking legit.
You're saying that he should be more inclusive of other people. That's all I'm hearing.
God,
Could you take that gene
this
from
is
him?
outrageous. This is
Could you
so
take
bad.
that gene from him and give it to Matt Bolding?
Sure.
All right,
We can just move on.
I'm just going mute. Go ahead. Say what you need.
No, it's done now. We can move on. He's one of the most skilled players of this draft. He probably has the most highlight reel plays of any player of this draft other than like Demidov. So there you go. It's done. Okay, we can move on. Next, I don't want to do this anymore. Let's just go. Let's keep going. Let's keep going to the next team.
It's great because Isha left, so this is just gonna sit here on the screen. Actually, I can remove it. All right. All right. Next up is at 14, to my chagrin, San Jose Sharks get the Pittsburgh Penguins pick this year because they were not able to pull typical Gary Bettman things and get into the top 10. Sharks already have Macklin Celebrini. Who do they take here at 14 after the Wild have now, as we've discussed, taken Michael Brandseg Nygaard?
Do I want to go?
Go with another 3-name guy or 3-name player.
Yeah. 3-name guys aren't coming until later in the draft.
There's another one on the board.
There's some good ones.
There are a few.
Leo Saline Wallenius?
Yep, that is exactly the one that I was looking at.
Great fucking name. He's not going this way.
Great name.
Sick name.
I'm gonna take another swing on some. Oh no, I really want him to go to. It'd be so much more fun in Detroit, though. Yeah, at this point, actually, I don't really want to make him fall any farther, and I don't even know if you'd, I guess, maybe it's not necessarily falling. This is right around where he should go. Liam Greentree, left shot, right wing out of Windsor, 6'2", 200 pounds. He put up ridiculous numbers in the OHL. 90 points in 64 games. Windsor was an absolutely horrific team. Like,
he still managed to have a third of the minus that Connor Bedard did.
There you go. There you go. So this is a kid that was pretty much on his own every single game for Windsor. And he might have like the craziest mixtape of any of these kids. Like, the goals that he was scoring, and just the only time they were winning games was because he would just take over. And again, I cannot emphasize enough how bad this team was. This is a team that sold all of their pieces to bring in, like, over a couple of years ago, like Shane Wright. They brought in, oh my God, the Brett Harrison, Bruins prospect, like that year, same year. Like, they gave away so many.
They scored a shitload of goals, though.
Yeah, they gave up. You should have seen the goals they were giving up. Like, it was pretty much every time the other team touched the puck, it was like, they might. It's probably gonna go in here. It was pretty much literally him and that Abraham kid, like, on their own. But like, Liam Greentree literally made it happen every single time he touched the puck. And like, defensively, he is at least engaged. The fact that only dash 14 is actually, like, it's almost impressive with how bad that fucking team was. But like, he took over almost every game that he played in this year for Windsor. I know for us at Smart Scout, we have him in our top 10. Like, the upside is just comical. And plus, he gives you the size. He loves to, like, throw hit on the forecheck. So I go Liam Greentree here. I love that mix, sending him over to San Jose. If you get him and Celebrity in the first round, you're loving it.
I reacted because I just looked at their record and their numbers.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's horrific. And he put up 90 fucking points.
Oh, the joys of coming off.
They give up 360 goals in 68 games.
Yeah.
How can you not get Greentree on the Wild? It's just so perfect.
Well, once we had to move on from fucking Connolly so fast, because I remember I brought him up with Minnesota before. I've literally brought him up for Minnesota before.
Minnesota already has
We've
one
done this on this
elite
fucking
Connolly. We're good.
And Isha has the ugliest jersey in the league on right now. Good for him.
360 goals divided by 68 games is 5.29 goals per game.
Yeah, they were like,
they're poor goalies.
God.
Meh.
They were starting the first period down 3-0. Like, they
It's
were
still somehow less than Chicago averaged giving up all season.
They were so bad. Like, they were so bad.
Oh,
and Liam Greentree did that.
So wait, am I hearing this correct, Z, that you are going to let Yzerman fall to Yzerman at 15?
Yep.
That's gross.
Yeah, it's horrific. I hate it. But that's what we're doing. The slide officially has to stop here. Like, it does. Like, we can't let him go this much farther.
Stop the slide.
I really can't.
Stop the slide. Stop.
Detroit, the big question I had was whether they would keep going with the Swedes. Taking Alphonse Fry here, that's like logically the first Swede off the board. That's too rich for me. And plus, they've got plenty of defensemen over the last few years. So they take a big swing on the goal scorer here. They go with Cole Yzerman. Yzerman to Yzerman. We love that. Pretty fun. Hate that for everyone else, though, but love that for Detroit. And I mean, they're in a spot where they can afford to take that swing too. Like, so I go Cole Yzerman, send Detroit, move on.
Move on.
I don't have much more to add on that because it makes me sick to my stomach.
All right, then who is the final piece to Z? I think between us mutually, one of our favorite prospect lines has to be Rick Dvorsky, Jimmy Snuggerud, and who goes 16 to St. Louis. Is it another forward to finish that line, or is it a defenseman?
Sure is, and it's I've brought him up before. Beckett Seneke
Ooh.
is the prototypical St. Louis Blue if Craig Berube was still their head coach, because he flashes some of the plays that he's made, like the highlight reel goals that he scored, some of the plays he set up.
What
it
a
almost
fucking
looks
hairdo.
like,
Oh my God.
Yeah. It almost looks like he's like making it up as he goes, and it's like, oh shit, it worked. But then he's like, it's like he's like a 90% success rate with it. You're like, maybe like he just is kind of like nuts. I don't know, but he's got some ridiculous hands, and the fact he's a big kid, he's another kid. So like we talked about this with Caden Bankier. He hit like a growth spurt when he was like 16, like a couple of years ago. He went from like 5'10" to 6'2" overnight, and was like, oh wait, now that like I am 6'2", me being a prick on the ice and just like killing guys, it's even more effective.
Turns out it tracks. See somebody get
so there you go. Now we've
here?
got Seneke highlights coming up. Some of the plays that he makes, again, like he can make plays like assists. The goals that he scores are comical. Like he makes guys miss despite not being the fastest kid in the world. This video quality is so funny. I don't know if it's just me, but like,
Sorry.
it's just not.
I'm glad it wasn't. Just
I didn't know it was that bad.
I was like, am I looking at a flip book that's missing 20 pages?
The pixelation there was just so good. It was like he picks the puck up at the red line and then it like pauses and the puck's in the net. It's like, how did he do that? It's like, yeah, that's how he's making it up as he goes. It's just crazy.
It started off so good. I turned away from my tab and I was like, oh God. Sorry about that.
But yeah, and like there are a lot of games where he's playing with Kumpalainen too in Oshawa. So I've been able to watch him a whole lot this year. So I think he's going to go right around this range, like, especially when you look at his playoff numbers. Like, he took over the playoffs for Oshawa. They will be playing London in the OHL finals there. I think he missed, actually, Game 7. I don't know if it was injury. He may have got himself suspended. I don't remember, to be honest with you. But
he didn't take his skate off and try to stab somebody, did he?
Nah, he might. It's up his. That's something he's got in his arsenal. You know, he's not afraid to pull that one out. The game gets.
Hey, anybody that's got a little Happy Gilmore to him, I can get behind.
But you know, offensively, he's kind of just like that jack of all trades, and he's going to run you through the glass in the forecheck, make you look like an idiot once he wins the puck back, and it's going to end up in the back of your net. So I think he actually might be one guy that goes closer to 10 that we don't really expect. But at this point, with how well he played in the playoffs, with how well he played, like closing out the season in the OHL, you know, at the start of the year, I think this is honestly like probably, now that I think about it, close to the range he was in, I guess. I think we like the upside, maybe a reach like before the season started, but as the year's gone on, like he's just gotten better, and like the two-way game's legit. But the fact that he's able to like play at his size after like literally again like growing 5 inches overnight, and it immediately worked for him. There are a lot of guys that have that issue where like all of a sudden they're like, I have no idea how to do anything anymore. Like my bot, like I grew and now nothing is the same and I don't know what to do. He used it to his full advantage. And again, he is a fucking killer on the ice. That also just goes Sports Center top 10 mode almost every time he touches the puck.
Nah.
And that'll do it. That's one that I actually am. That's one pick. I'm if he's sitting there at 16, I would actually be pretty surprised if St. Louis isn't like, he's sitting right there. Absolutely. Thank you.
Let's not overthink this. Let's just go.
He's already in their Amazon gift bag. What's it called? The shopping cart. Yeah, he's in their Amazon shopping cart already, just waiting.
All right. Before random nonsense and bullshit, Z, is there anyone that you feel we need to touch on that's like a strong honorable mention that could easily be in this top 16 group? Or do you feel pretty good about the people we picked?
Yeah, I mean, there are a couple, like specifically Michael Haig, the USHL for Chicago Steel. Like, I've briefly touched on him before. Like, the end of last year or over the summer, he had to get full on, like, insane shoulder surgery. Also, within a couple weeks, like, lost his dad. Like, so he starts off the year, like, at the bottom of the bottom. And this year in the USHL, once he got healthy, he was probably a top 5 player in that league. He's going to go middle of the first round. He's got size, plays a ridiculously solid two-way game. Actually, yeah, I guess he got hurt earlier in the year last year. When I think about it. But he is going to be on a whole lot of teams' radars. Like, I think through 20 games, he may have had like 8 points, and then he finishes through like 54 with 75. Like, he is unfucking believable. So that's one guy to for sure keep your eye on, because I do think there's a chance he goes right around that 15 to 20 range. And actually, that's very likely because he is that good. But like the fact that he like not even finished the season, like right around the halfway point, picked it up to this degree, and then just showcased things that he's never showcased before in terms of like that two-way game. I think he's a guy to keep your eye on. And then another guy's like in the USHL, Sasha Boisvert. He is a stud. Another big centerman, plays a good two-way game. He's fucking mean as fuck. And he has some insane skill, point production. Like he's got a very high ceiling. I think he's going to go right around that range too, probably closer to like 18 to 22 maybe. But another guy that a lot of teams are going to look at and say, yeah, he plays like the NHL style already. Love the way he plays the game. And he's got that upside. Like you take a swing on that kid too. Which is kind of like just the overall theme of this draft. It's like there's a whole lot of kids with some crazy tools that haven't put it all together consistently more than like this year. So there you go. Yeah. Sasha Boisvert with Muskegon, 68 points in 61 games and 86 penalty or 86 penalty minutes. Can't say.
Jeez.
He is an animal. Like he is a beast. Like he's going to be very high on a lot of teams' radars. So I'll also be curious in this draft if how many teams trade back. Like that's the thing I'm really curious to see, because there's so many kids that like with legit ceilings that you can pick up later in the first round, that you can work with and develop to turn into like real solid contributors in the NHL. So that's one of the themes in this draft. I'm curious to see if it happens. We say this every year. It happens every so often, but I think they're like, we talked about this with Minnesota. Like they can afford to do that. They want to pick up a bunch of like mid-round picks too. Because I think there's going to be a ton of guys that go in this draft like second, third, fourth round that turn into legit impact NHLers.
Dude, the fact he didn't go to the Q and he went to the USHL is awesome.
Yeah,
already a beauty.
Ripped it up.
What's the
Well,
Q?
The
Never heard of her.
QMJHL.
Never heard of her.
Some
that a
fucking shitty league that we don't even need to talk about.
Is that like the WHL?
Okay, stop. Stop it.
Oh, actually, though, two players that we've talked about before that right at the beginning of the year suffered basically season-ending injuries. Two defensemen. I am so curious to see if they end up going in the first round still. Yersek, Adam Yersek, brother of David, brother David. I think he's gonna go first round still, and like possibly close to 20. Like big right shot. We're gonna have to see how bad that injury is gonna affect his like mobility, because that's a big part of his game, especially just like breaking the puck out, evading forechecks. I still think he's gonna go higher than a lot of people have him, just given how much time he's missed. But like before he got injured, like he was definitive top 10 kind of guy. So I'm real curious to see where he goes. Again, I do think he's going to go first round still. I mean, look at like the consolidated ranking on EP, still at 17. Like he is legit. And then Aaron Kiviharu, I think at this point he's going to fall out of the first round, dude. But that upside is no joke. He came back, played in the U18s again. Same thing with Hellenius. Like first couple of games, he looked great. And as the tournament went on, he just like all of that whole team for Team Finland, like it just didn't happen for him. But there were flashes of you see like that upside. He is just incredible. He was a double underager a couple years ago to Hlinka, best player of the tournament. Like he is phenomenal. But like that injury just destroyed him this year. And even before that, like it was a slow start, but I'll be curious to see where he actually ends up going. I do think at this point he probably will fall out of the first round. The only way I see him going first round is like one of those teams with 2 picks. Do you take a swing late in the first? I don't know, but yeah, I mean he barely played this year.
Judd.
Barely played this year.
Round Judd. second round Judd.
Trade Rossi for another first. Trade Rossi for another first.
I can't even
Just
think about that.
kidding.
I'll
Go
kill
fuck
you.
yourself.
I'm not the one trying to
Z
trade
will,
him.
no. Z didn't mean that. He meant to say he will unalive you.
Yeah.
LGBT. Please don't show that to Brett. Sean, Brett cannot handle this. Don't do it.
That's the comment of the night, at least from what I've seen. I can't speak to what happened before I got here, but let's be honest, the only comments that matter are after Lockdown Wild joined the party.
That was amazing.
That one's gonna get us in trouble.
I got some questions here from earlier in the stream, Z. So let's get to them now. And Seth and Hoppy obviously chime in.
Well, and I have to attend to parental duties.
Oh,
so
there you go. Well, then
three
Seth
of
and
you
Z chime in.
What a loser.
Yeah, what a bitch. Yeah.
All right.
He basically like disregarded the fact that there was a child when he was here the whole time.
Z?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it,
And
Thursday
now you're
night?
leaving.
Oh, should we go into the bar tonight? I was like, no, I have to work tomorrow.
Some of us.
That's a baby.
What a baby. What a baby.
Yeah, what a baby.
I forgot that's how I led that podcast off.
That was
That
very
was great.
impressive.
There's a
I'll-
human child in the room.
Oh,
Drooling
let's-
all over and everything. It was great.
Carews on. Enjoy, boy.
All right. Cheers, Hobby. All right, yeah. So we got a few more questions. We got a few questions here that I bookmarked from earlier in the stream. So before we wrap shit up, let's get to these questions. And if you guys have any questions here, get them in the live chat. Let's get to some of these that I bookmarked earlier, though. And some of them are draft related. Some of them aren't. Like Sean's here. Sounds like no buyout for Pierre-Luc Dubois. Seth and I actually talked about it on the Sota pod, which will be dropping tonight. Sorry, guys. It's a day late. I filmed a Cinco de Mayo Hoppy Hour. And let's just say I filmed more than I thought I did because I downed like 8 to 9 beers in 20 minutes of filming as I reviewed a ton of different Mexican beers. Just too fast. So
Everybody in the club getting tips.
there was a lot to edit. Let's just say that. So I'm almost done. Right after this, I will be posting it on YouTube. So thank you guys for your patience. But Seth and I had a really good conversation about this in general. But Z, Seth, thoughts on the Pierre-Luc Dubois situation?
So I found out that the fine margin that LA has the option to buy this guy out basically rests entirely on how many games the Stanley Cup final lasts. So he turns, what's that? What God is it? Fucking 20. Oh, it's gonna drive me insane.
4?
No, it's the fucking
25.
Oh, God damn, what's the buyout rule? 20. Oh, yeah, so it's 26. Like they have to do it before it turns 26. Then it's the money that like the buyout isn't remotely as bad. He turns 26 on actually I think someone just put it in there. June 26th. Yep. Game 7 of the Stanley Cup final, which they have to do it, I believe, after the Stanley Cup has been awarded. Like they cannot buy him out before the playoffs end. You're drinking out of a bowl. Oh my God. That's
dude. Shout out to our friends at Back Channel Brewing out of Minnetonka.
If you
Don't worry,
expect
Spoke,
to be
it's jarring.
able to get through this with
it's jarring every time you
out of
see
an
it.
actual bowl.
You want me to smoke a bowl on the next one? Like, what do you want from me here?
No, I'm a big fan of it. It was just going to throw me off. I was never not getting sidetracked. But he turns 26, I believe. Again, like our buddy here, Urban said, June 26th. The Stanley Cup final, Game 7, is scheduled. I think it's like June 24th or 25th. So they're gonna have, if it goes 7, if LA, and it does sound like they're not going to do it either way, but like if they really want to do it, they're going to be watching that Stanley Cup final, begging any team for a sweep. Anybody, just like, please don't go 7. Please don't go 7. Please don't go 7. Because they will have the quickest turnaround humanly possible to do it. It's
they're
so
just gonna be
good.
locked and loaded and ready. Like, yeah, as soon as it
my
ends, for sure.
God.
Wow.
And the contract, does it not start next year? That 8
Yeah.
years starts next
Yeah.
year? They're
Yeah.
already talking about buying him out. I don't know what the problem is. That if you were to build in today's NHL, if you were going to build a top 6 center in a lab,
He's the guy.
it's pretty much Pierre.
It's between the ears, man. It's between the ears. Because, like,
He's
look
big,
at this.
he's mean, he's nasty, he's got hands, he can score, he's a playmaker. Like, he's literally, like, he is fucking incredible. And I don't know what it is.
It's because he's got a
just
little
can't
French
get
in
it
him.
to go.
He's got a little French
We're
in
not
him.
going there. We're gonna stop doing this. We gotta fuck Jesus Christ.
The
We're just
telling
it's unbelievable. We've been going 3 hours here. It's like, how can we get canceled? Like, how can we do this? This is
Bro, before he even
unfucking
jumped on, Hoppy was saying shit that got us like fucking demonetizing
Unbelievable.
Capital Race.
the biggest,
Yeah.
like the most damning part of the whole thing was the fact that in the game that they got eliminated, he was the 4th line center. In the game
I mean,
that
he's
they
been in
got
their bottom
eliminated by
6
Edmonton.
last.
I mean, Seth, in the game they won, he was the 4th line center. So
Like I'm still of the belief that the only reason that they even have leaked that was to try to light a fire under him, because like it's just nobody's taken that contract on, for one. So your options are he either figures it out or you buy him out, and I don't think they're super keen on doing that. So he's gonna he can't be worse. He can't be worse. I'll emphatically say that he cannot be worse next year than he was this year.
I don't know. He could put up 30 points instead of 40.
Hey,
Playing the same way that he did,
he
to be
still
honest.
he already got eliminated. He's still first in the playoffs for PIMS. He's got 20 PIMS in those 5 games that he played.
Oh
He
my
did score
God.
1.
Did he get in any fight though?
No, of course not.
No, man. Then I don't care.
Did he have more or less points than Fiala did?
Fiala looked good,
Actually,
man.
He had 2
He
points.
just is.
He looked good though.
Perfect. Pierre-Luc had 1. He had 1 goal.
Oh,
There we go. How about Matty Tkachuk though in his presser a few days ago? I missed that. Do you guys know what Kieran's
Yes.
talking about?
Did you not hear what he said?
No.
So game 7, Boston, Toronto happens. Next day,
Yeah.
they're going to Tkachuk, and they were like, so they basically asked him, like, were you guys preparing for like one or the other? Were you just like, whatever? And he goes, without making this sound too bad, I think we all were pretty much under the assumption that Boston somehow was going to pull this one out. So we basically was like, we only prepared for Boston because we knew the Leafs were going to fucking win. Like, it's obviously not word for word he said, but anytime you start an answer with, not to make this come off too bad, it's gonna come off bad. He
it's
literally
not gonna
just
be
goes,
great.
I think we all kind of assumed that Boston, one way or another, would end up pulling it out in the in this series. So
He's
we weren't
just
that surprised.
what a saint.
Well, how about
It's
Mitch?
unbelievable.
How about Mitch Marner's comments that a
Yeah,
lot of
that
people
I get it.
a lot of people like looked on the Maple Leafs over the last few years as like gods. Like,
He's not wrong, but it's the weirdest time to possibly say.
yeah,
Like, because he's from Toronto. Like, part of that is him saying, like, I'm from
Yeah.
Toronto. Like, the Leafs are
Idolized.
gods to me.
idolized. I get
don't
that.
say gods. Just don't say gods.
And when Tavares chose Toronto, it was the same thing. Everyone was like, our boy's coming home. Like, yeah.
Yeah. But it's just
Just don't say
that
gods.
to
Yeah,
say
yeah.
that after you get knocked out in round 1 again, like
And, like, he just did not show up.
No.
not at all.
Oh, it's tough.
No. All right, next question. Horror Docs. Is Chicago becoming the new Habs? Where have a playoff caliber team on paper just to crap the bed?
Would that be the new Sens then?
I mean, I don't know.
too early.
Yeah.
Chicago's got a lot of work to do before they even get close to
Just time.
that.
Yeah, time, man. Like development, work, and time. And the Habs. Actually, here's a question to stem off of that one for both you, Seth and Z. Are the Habs closer to being a competitive team than Chicago?
Oh, yeah.
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 No, they've got more established NHL guys, plus the
Right.
young guys that are rolling for them right now. Like they are close to being like legit. Chicago is fully like, we will take every fucking elite, like high end young prospect possible. I also like Montreal is interesting. Like Chicago's obviously like original six, huge market. Montreal, you can't tank for very long. Like you just can't. You can't get away with tanking. Like you could only do it for a couple of years, and that fan base will lose their patience. They've already done an incredible job. Like number one, the shit they pulled with like the assets they acquired for Sean Monahan, like
Incredible.
unbelievable. Like pick up a first for taking him, pick up another first for trading. Like good for you.
Insane. Yeah.
And they've got like some of the picks that they've made, whether people like it or not, like they have some guys that are coming and like legit impact NHL players when they do hit the NHL. And they've got a bunch of guys that took huge steps this year that probably will be vying for NHL spots next year, plus whoever they fucking pick up. And this draft was going to make me fucking puke. So I would say they're closer for sure. Like Chicago's in that spot where they're getting all the super young guys. Yeah. And they're also picking up like 35-year-old experienced NHL players to like play with them and like show them the ropes still. So like that's how early on they are. With the number 2 overall pick this year, they could take a big step though. So I still think Montreal's closer though.
Yeah. Do you think Anaheim replaced the loss of Drysdale?
I mean, the thing with them is like they don't really need to go out of their way to do it. Like they don't need to take a big swing on one of them. I mean, like they are so set everywhere, but like already on that back end, like I said this at the like when we were doing we were saying who I take before, like their back end, the prospects, they've got Pavel Minchikov, who was ridiculous this year as a rookie. You got Jackson Lacombe, Minnesota kid. He looked great this year. Olin Zellweger, best defenseman WHL last year. Looked good when he played this year.
So
Tristan
good.
Luneau, top right shot D man. He was their prospect pool. They have in the same year they had the OHL, WHL, and QMJHL top defenseman. Like I think it's 2022 or 2023. Lagesson, Lindstrom, like hey, Colton White, Trevor Hellison, Hines, Noah Warren, real good. Rodwin Dionisio, who plays on Saginaw with Hunter Haight, he is absurd.
Yeah.
And then you've got like Ian Moore, like they are quite set. They don't like Drysdale also never really hit for Anaheim, so I don't really know if they're in a huge rush to like try to replace that because Drysdale just like with his injury luck when he was in Anaheim, it never really hit. So that's another team that's just in prime position to take over the fuck they want. But that being said, like, you know, they do still have like the top demon, but you know, to some extent, there's a bit of a common thread, like elite puck moving, scoring defenseman. Do they want to go take a big swing on, you know, one of those defensemen that I took after? Like, what are they picking 3? Is that what they're? Like, do they go pick up like Lev Shunov, who like takes that to a whole other level? Do they go for the Salayev there? I don't know.
Z, what do you think of Stian Solberg, D-man from Norway, going to play for Farjestad next season?
Farjestad, come on. He had.
I can't even say Swastika right. Come on.
Okay, this is unbelievable. Like it's like we're just dead set on saying the most shitty things. I know.
Well, I assure you, there's YouTube channels that say worse.
Yeah. Solberg has a ton of big fans in NHL front offices. So this is a kid, big left shot D man. I think it's like 6'2", 6'3", close to 200 pounds or over 200 pounds. And he is one of the meanest defensemen in this draft. And he's shown some legit, like first couple of games of the World Juniors this year for Norway, when they were doing that thing where they were like hanging in for 2 periods, he was making plays and killing people.
So good. That was,
and he was
so
playing
much
pro
fun
in
to
Norway this year. He put up 15 points in 40 games this year in Norway. I think he goes second round, like probably. And in terms of what his actual upside is, I still don't it's tough to gauge the first league in Norway. But like, I mean, he's shown some ability, like he can move the puck, but the fact that he skates as well as he does and he defends as well as he does, and the fact that he's that mean, like he is one of the meanest defensemen in this draft. I think in the playoffs, he had like, when they played 15 or something games, he finished with close to 40 penalty minutes. Like he is a fucking killer. And I do think there's some like tools there that you can really, he's got the like the long development path, I think. But it's tough to gauge like that league and how much of that play is going to translate to the NHL. But I know for a fact, like I've talked to a few of my scouting buddies who talk to scouts, like every team loves him because of like the skating ability, how mean he is, and like he's a pretty good defender that can move the puck. So I think he's going to go second round. There's always going to be the question the upside though. It's like, are you really just going to get like a killer? If he can move the puck, that's something. But do you want to take that in the second round when there's going to be a ton of guys in this draft with like legit tools and legit upside? They're going to be all over the first through fourth rounds.
I know Hoppy left, but I bookmarked this earlier. Google different ways of saying unalive yourself. And it just came up with a hotline for me to call. Now I'm probably on the list. Thank you, Hoppy.
Yeah, I would say so. Probably good.
Yeah.
Good chance.
Z like Tanner, how in the past still think he goes in the first?
No, I think he ends up going second, but I think whoever gets him is going to be very happy. Like there's definitely offensive upside there. Like the fact that he put up pretty good numbers without Bedard. And even when Bedard was in Regina, he was almost never on the same line.
Yeah, 85.
Yeah, and like that was not a very good. They made the playoffs because of Connor Bedard that year. And then this year he still put up 77 points, 68 games. Like he's got that upside. The thing with him is he going to be like a one-trick pony? Is he just going to be a scorer and then give you? I think there's enough there to make him a pretty productive middle six guy. But I think given how many other players really like skyrocketed this year that are going to jump him in the first round, I think he goes like mid-second. But you're going to like that pick in a few years as he continues to develop because he is a really good player. He's also one of the older players in this class. So that's always going to like knock you down a peg every year. Like that's just the way it goes.
Another one from Mateo. Not that I want to happen, but considering Rossi may or may not have been worth Gauthier, how high in the draft could they get with just him? So like just trading Rossi.
Can I start this one? Because I actually talked about this last week. I feel like if the Wild are trying to go from 13 to a spot in the draft, they could probably get to like 6 or 7 if they offer Rossi. Like they could get into that range. I don't know if it's enough to get into the top 5, but I feel like you could get into that 6, 7, or 8 range.
Center prospect, scored 20 last year, looked good. 100% you could jump them. You could jump that many spots. But like,
yeah,
I don't want them to, Z. Like I want them to move forward with Rossi.
Well, and the other thing too is, so let's look at the scenarios here. If you're trying to move up, why don't you just use Philip Gustafson to acquire some capital to do so? Like,
like some of what you have in fucking Iowa that may or may not make the team, you know?
Like I would feel like if you're going to trade Rossi, do it for somebody that is going to be able to help you long term. Gustafson is way more likely to be able to get you a draft pick of some sort. So that'd be the way I would do it. I would much rather just hang on to Rossi and not trade him like at all. I just would rather not entertain it. I get why they're doing it, but I also reserve the right to not agree with the decision to do so.
Yeah,
no, I mean, I agree. I think there's enough in the cupboard that if you want to move up, you can package those. But yeah, Z, what do you think?
If it's moving up from like I don't know why you would. If it is purely like Rossi to move up 5 spots, I don't get it. Like, it really does not make much logical sense.
No, it doesn't.
Like, but I mean, whatever. Like, I'm at the point now where I'm like, sometimes these moves get me. I'm like, all right, whatever. I'll figure it out later, I guess. But even when he was put down into like third line, he was still producing. And I mean, he put up 20 goals this year. I don't know. Like, if they're at the point where like yeah, I mean, if they're at the point where they think that this is pretty close to like his highest, like if they think he's close to ceiling right now,
there's no way they think that
spots, I don't know. I'm trying to rationalize this because to me it doesn't make sense. Just like on the nose, like we've traded Marco Rossi to move up 5 spots.
The thought process,
you're getting a solid player. You're getting an unbelievable player at 13.
The thought process being here is that you're going to find you're trading Rossi to free up a spot to get somebody that can be like your bona fide 1C, with Joel Eriksson Ek being your 2C, and the top spot that you'd be able to put Rossi in would be 3rd or 4th line. That's the reason you're trading Rossi. And I get the logic. I also hate the logic, and
because they're not there yet. They're not like beggars can't be choosers right now. You know what I mean? Like,
this is you're not.
They're not even in the fucking playoffs, dude. Are you kidding me? You're gonna trade like a center prospect? Like
you're not at the point where you can simply pull one player off the roster, add one guy back in, and say, "All right, we're a legitimate contender." Like you're not at that point.
Yeah, no, for sure. And again, I think there's enough on the farm and enough in the cupboards where if they did truly want to move up, like they don't have to dangle him, right?
Well, they've got multiple picks in rounds 3, 4, 5, 6. Is it 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in 2026? Like they have just a shitload of draft capital and prospects. Like play with some of that if you're trying to move up and make some sort of a move that way.
All right. Final thing we're going to address before we hang up the skates, guys. Urban with the final 2 questions. The final question and a follow-up. How does the Columbus Blue Jackets turn things around? They have so much young talent, some solid D men, but they still suck. Well, they do need some good management and coaching to start.
Yeah.
They're going to have to figure out how to get out of some of these contracts. Like the fact that they blocked so many of their young players last year by bringing in guys like Provorov, Severson, and like signing, like taking, like doing the sign and trade with Severson. He's what, maybe 7-8 years? Like, what? I don't fucking get that at all. They've got 3 or 4 legit top 4 upside defensemen that are close to being ready for the NHL, and you just put them behind like another couple of years because you've got Werenski, who's going nowhere and is a stud. Now you've got fucking Damon Severson locked up. Provorov
2031 is the end of the Severson contract.
They just like did like the one that breaks my brain still is the 4x4 Eric Branson. I think it was 2 years ago. I cannot believe that they did that. I don't like. He made himself a really useful defenseman in Calgary because his playing was Zadorov in the system that Sutter played. Like,
bro, that was his first
full solid NHL year.
That was the only year that Eric Branson was like, oh wow, yeah, you were a 1st round draft pick. 1 year,
and it made that whole decor looked like their numbers were outrageous defensively.
Oh, yeah.
And then like shocking, you put him in fucking Columbus where like they lit. I showed you, like, there was that live stream. I was like, yo, look at fucking Goodbranson's numbers last night in terms of on-ice chances against. It was on-ice chances for 2 against 47. It was unbelievable.
Oh, my God.
It was one of the worst performances.
Dude, honestly, when he was with the Canucks, like, I almost unalived myself. It was that bad. Like,
Jesus Christ.
Oh, boy.
But they just have so many of these fucking guys they brought in and like locked up that I don't it just doesn't. They put themselves behind the 8 ball so much harder. Like, look at their top scorers, Johnny Gaudreau with what 60? I can't even see
60. 60.
Yeah, it's fucking unbelievable.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy, man. Given where he was at.
To Urban's point that you just put on the screen, I don't think Columbus knows their plan either, and that's
they don't have
Yarmo. Fuck them.
Yeah.
They drafted very well. They have some of my favorite drafts the last 4 years, but they are all now put back like 2 or 3 years because they just had to go sign ridiculous contracts. So like they're gonna have to, if they really want to be good soon, they're gonna have to figure out how to get rid of them.
Maybe don't go into a season thinking that Mike Babcock is a viable option at head coach. Like,
Bro,
that's-
what a start to the season.
yeah,
Like
you
this. Okay.
you basically have just forfeited the season if you do something like that. Like a week before the season starts, you fire your head coach, and you're like, "Oh yeah, no, it's fine. We're just gonna have the substitute teacher come in and lead us through this." Like you're punting on the season.
Yeah, so like with management and CBJ, dude, like they have to dig themselves out of the hole that they got fucking like unwillingly tossed into from Kekalainen. They do fortunately have past 3 or 4 years probably top 5 draft classes. So it's coming eventually, but like right now the groundwork's going to have to be figure out what you want to do with the coach. In the meantime, while you figure out the contract and the money situation, because like some of those deals are just it's insane.
It is. Well, that about wraps it up. Thanks everybody for all your comments. Thanks everybody who hung out with us and watched and reacted throughout this entire uneventful draft lottery, but fun live stream nonetheless. Seth, before we wrap up, tell everybody what you got going on Locked On Wild coming up this week.
Report cards, and we definitely gave Kirill Kaprizov an F. If you watched today's episode,
That's generous.
I'm
I
kidding.
saw it drop before we went live.
What a terrible hockey player.
We're doing
Terrible
report.
guy.
We're doing a report. It's funny because I do the Twitter polls, and I know you just have to throw out a percentage, but it's like 6% of the votes were D or F for Kaprizov, and so I'm just hoping
Who
that
the
was.
fuck voted D or F?
I don't know.
It's sad. I'm from Boston. Nothing shocks me. They gave David Krejci the most disappointing player in Boston sports history the year after he put up 75 points as a fucking 34-year-old.
What?
So I just
Nothing
like
shocks me. Nothing.
I just throw them out, but we're doing that. I'm going to start to do some draft profiles. My guys at Locked On Sens have been essentially the pioneers for how to do those
They're
profiles
awesome.
they do are so good. So I'm going to try to do my own version on those for the draft. We're going to do that. We'll have some potential teams to look at for trades for guys, mostly Philip Gustafson. And I've got a couple of other ideas in the hopper too that I think will be fun. And also every day you can find on social media our random wild game of the day. Literally just doing random number generator for a season and a game and just recapping it. We're above 500 so far. Freddie Gaudreau does not have a shootout goal though. So
cool. Can't wait for
Maybe.
the one against Vancouver this year. That'll be fun. They'll throw the numbers up.
I am very anxious to see when that one comes around. Because
Yeah, me too. To be every day I'm looking, I'm like, oh, that one's gonna be fun. That one I'm gonna
you may
comment on.
remember this one quite vividly.
Oh,
But no,
man.
it's just we're just continuing to keep the machine turning. If SpokedZ would ever answer my texts, he would be welcome on the show.
what?
Kidding.
Oh, you're right.
No, we're gonna have a good time. Isha will have you on air production meeting, probably record tomorrow.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, tight.
So yeah, I join either every Thursday episode or Friday episode on Locked On Wild, and Seth joins us on the Sota pod. Again, day late for the Sota pod. It's going to drop literally like right after this. I got one more thing to edit quick, and then the podcast will drop. Again, the Hoppy Hour is the star. I mean, Seth is usually the star of the show, but I have to say for this episode, Seth, the Hoppy Hour segment it's the star segment of the show.
I'll take a willing
up.
willing backseat to Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, it was a bad idea, dude. It was a bad idea. I literally got fucking wasted and then streamed Japanese boxing until 8 a.m. and then kept working. And yeah, it was bad.
Doesn't sound like you at all.
Shout out to Inoue. Still undefeated. Shout out to the Kraken too. Z, this has been fun. No Judd's Buds this week, guys, as the mock draft has acted and is replacing the Judd's Buds episode. So no stream tomorrow. He's just like, well, that's news to me. There you go, Z.
News to me. I love that for me.
Breaking
So that's
news.
what Hoppy told me.
da-da-da-da.
Hoppy could be watching right now and texting us, being like, "Oh, that's not what I said." But no, I'm
is
like
not accurate.
98. I'm like 98% sure that is the plan. The mock draft episode will come out via podcast form on Friday. We have an MNCAA St. Cloud Huskies wrap up that will drop tomorrow. Again tonight, Sota Pod before you go to bed or first thing tomorrow. You'll have it on your feed. Thanks, guys. Hope you're still monetized.
We're not.
Me too. All right, guys. With that being said, another draft lottery in the books. We will be live for the draft, which is always a fun one, and then back next Wednesday.
Wait, what did I?
Needs to be doing that.
What did I agree to? I may have forgotten.
Oh,
Yeah, you're gonna go to Vegas and just.
I've already
fucking
clipped it.
rip.
I've already clipped it. No stream this Wednesday. Back next Wednesday. You guys are amazing. We'll see you on the next one. Thank you. Have a good night. Enjoy the playoffs, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.
Peace.